Chat, what it do? We back. Some more reaction type shit. Don't feel like gaming. And I'm low-key tired from babysitting my puppy pretty much all damn day. So we're just gonna watch some shit. Probably like 2-hour stream. I don't think it'll go any longer than that. I don't know. But yeah. Just gonna react to random shit. Added some more stuff to the playlist. Change the scene. One. What it do, Ego? What's up, Pearl? What it do, Crystal? Appreciate y'all being here. We got the Diddy Deep Dive. That one sounds dummy interesting. Y'all been here about Diddy? Man, just on some shit. Day that almost ended the world. This one sounds stupid interesting too. Cars from an FBI database. Does the CIA make people disappear? CIA spy reveals. Bangers. Telling y'all. Top films himself doing the unthinkable. Got some heaters. We're gonna start with this one though.
March 5th, 2016, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles. We have grainy security footage, but what it shows is clear. A woman dressed in black walks towards an elevator. A man in a towel follows her into the hallway, grabs her by the neck, and throws her to the ground. The woman in the footage is Cassandra Ventura, a singer who goes by the name Cassie. And the man in the footage is Sean Combs, the music mogul known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or just Diddy, or even the Diddler now. Diddy and Cassie were together for 9 years at the time the events in the surveillance footage unfolded. A security guard named Israel Flores witnessed part of the assault, and according to his testimony, Diddy approached him afterward with a sack of cash, which was a bribe, to keep what he saw to himself, and he would get $50,000, which to him was a life-changing amount of money for a guard that's making $10.50 an hour. And this video existed for 8 years.
$10.50 for security? That's kind of whack. It's a lot less than I thought it was. Holy fuck.
For anyone outside,
they should be getting paid like 20 an hour.
And when it finally surfaced in May of 2024, Sean Combs issued an apology
You're gonna play on Watch Bet.
Facebook.
Appreciate you.
He said, "I was truly sorry."
I'm truly sorry.
He also said, "I hit rock bottom."
I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom.
But obviously, an apology is not enough and was not going to be enough. And by then, the floodgates had already opened, and more than 120 people had come forward with allegations against the Diddler. Federal agents had raided his homes. A grand jury was meeting in New York, and for the footage, which showed clearly his crime, it wasn't even the worst of what he'd done. This is the story of how America's most successful music mogul faced allegations of racketeering, sex trafficking, and landed behind bars for charges related to prostitution.
Maybe if you're a kid, I mean, I don't know how old you all are, but if you're a kid, maybe your discretion advised here. I don't know. Don't know what's about to be said. I know what this man did, but just a warning.
The man who threw the party everyone wanted to attend was running something far darker behind closed doors. Before he was Diddy, before he was the Diddler, before he was Puff Daddy, Sean Combs was a 22-year-old party promoter with big ambitions and even bigger crowds. On December 28th, 1991, at City College of New York, a celebrity charity basketball game featuring Heavy D, Boyz II Men, and Run DMC was being held, with a portion of the proceeds going to AIDS education outreach programs. The gymnasium at Nat Holman Hall held 2,730 people, and an estimated 5,000 people showed up, nearly double the capacity. When security tried to close the doors, the crowd outside surged. They screamed, "Listen!" A stairwell became a crush zone. People fell. Other people fell on top of them. 9 people were trampled to death at the bottom of those stairs. The youngest was 16, the oldest was 29, and many more were injured in the tragic crowd-crushing event. It was like Travis Scott in Astroworld, but 30 years earlier and without that delicious McDonald's sandwich. Sean Combs was one of the promoters.
How have I never heard about that? I thought Travis Scott was the only, like, concert tragedy to happen, but I guess not.
Of this event.
Kind of crazy.
He helped organize the event, and it became known as the Stampede at City College. The families obviously sued the event. The settlement totaled $3.8 million.
Yo, what it do, Lance?
Paid
Appreciate you popping in, bro. We're watching a video about Diddy right now. Dude, we got bangers lined up, I'm telling you. You popped in at a good time. You didn't miss much either. We're like 3 minutes in.
Though no criminal charges were ever filed against him. 9 people had died, 8 at the scene, and 1 later as a result of injuries sustained. A check was written, and then life just moved on. Not to say that this sort of paints the picture of how Sean Combs does business, because it's very dark and he's definitely not a mass murderer type serial killer guy, but writing checks to make problems go away is absolutely a pattern that defines Sean Combs and his career as a bad dude. People get hurt, or in this case, die, money changes hands, and nobody goes to jail. Combs grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. His father, Melvin, was shot dead when he was just 3 years old, and his mother, Janice, raised him and his sister alone, working multiple jobs to give them a middle-class life. By the time he enrolled at Howard University in 1987, Combs was driven in a way that most people couldn't match. He dropped out after just 2 years to take an internship at Uptown Records at just 20 years old. And within months, the intern was running A&R, which is the Artists and Repertoire Department. He signed Mary J. Blige, and he produced her debut album called What's the 411, which went triple platinum in 1992.
Oh no. Oh no. I don't know. Should be good, hopefully. Copyright. Fuck.
When Combs' star had risen
it's good.
and
It should be
he
good.
was seemingly on top, Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown, fired him in 1993. And years later, Harrell would say he did it to set Combs free and to force him to build his own empire. I'm not exactly sure what kind of strange motivation that is.
But I didn't do it to hurt him, but I knew it was time for him to grow. And the only way he could grow was if he was going to have the same kind of corporate conversations that I was subjected to.
For whatever reason, it worked,
good.
and Combs launched Bad Boy Records with a $1.5 million deal from Clive Davis at Arista in 1993. And
True, yeah, that was like
leveraged
2
its success
seconds. We
into
should
a
be chilling.
$10 to $15 million deal during renegotiations in 1996. He was a pretty big deal in the early 90s, just right after starting his career. Combs also took one artist with him from Uptown Records, a 21-year-old rapper from Brooklyn named Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G.
Just speed music up or slow it down a bit.
Ready to Die dropped in September 1994, and it went 4 times platinum and made Bad Boy a household name. Faith
Chat, honest thought, who's better, Biggie or Tupac? Just curious.
Evans, Mace, The Lox, 112.
Everyone's saying Biggie, okay.
The roster kept growing. With the roster getting bigger, the hits kept coming as well. By the mid-90s, Sean Puff Daddy Combs was one of the most powerful people in music. He became Puff Daddy. And in 1998, Combs signed an 18-year-old rapper from Brooklyn named Jamal Barrow, stage name Shine. And Jamal had talent, but he had no idea what he was.
It's a hard choice, man. It's a really hard choice.
If you wanted to know who mattered in America between 1998 and 2009,
I think I'm going more towards Biggie.
You could check the guest list.
But obviously, Tupac's still
You've seen the images of these things. They are unbelievable. Every Labor Day in the Hamptons, there was an all-white dress code. Champagne was flowing. The biggest names in music, film, sports, and politics were all mingling on Diddy's lawn. Martha Stewart was there. Ashton Kutcher, Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Paris Hilton, Leonardo DiCaprio. At its peak, getting an invitation meant you had arrived. The parties looked like so much fun and the pinnacle of success. Beautiful people in white linen, dancing in the summer air, toasting to the good life. That's what everyone
both are
saw.
New York legends,
that's what the photos showed. But behind the white linen and champagne, something else was happening. Something that we obviously now know, but wouldn't become public for over 2 decades. In 2005, a 19-year-old singer from Connecticut named Cassandra Ventura signed a record deal with Bad Boy. This was Cassie, and within 2 years, she and Diddy were in a relationship. She was just 19 years old when they had met, and he was 37 years old. And their relationship would last 11 years, from 2007 to 2018, even 2 years after our surveillance footage. Also in 2005, a 21-year-old singer named Dawn Richard auditioned for Making the Band 3, and she made the cut and joined Danity Kane, the girl group Diddy was.
Tupac and Ice Cube, the founders of hood rap, true. Also Dr. Dre and Eazy-E, gotta put them up there too. Aqua's West Coast rap. I'm dumb as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I said true to New York too. I thought he was shit, man. I don't fucking know.
Was putting together for MTV. She'd work under his management for the next 8 years, and she had no idea
He's from somewhere,
what she was about to witness. So 3 people, Cassie, Shine, and Dawn. Cassandra, Jamal, and Dawn. Each of them had entered Diddy's orbit believing they were getting their big break, and each of them would have to pay a price that they never agreed to.
Racks.
Back to the 90s, on December 27th, 1999, at Club New York in Manhattan, the first cracks in the glamorous Diddy image would start to form. Diddy is there with his girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, and his newest artist, 19-year-old Shine. The club is packed, some words get exchanged, and an argument
did they come after?
erupts,
I don't know. I'm messed up with timelines.
3 people are struck by the gunfire. A woman named Natanya Rubin was shot in the face. After this, police arrest Diddy, Lopez, and Shine. Jennifer Lopez is released quickly, and Diddy and Shine go to trial. The prosecution's theory is that Shine fired the shots, but Natanya Rubin, the woman who was actually shot in the face, told a different story. In 2024, she went public with what she'd been saying for 25 years. Sean Combs shot her, not Shine. But the jury at the time didn't see it that way. Diddy was acquitted on all charges, and Shine was convicted of assault and reckless endangerment. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting a woman in the face. And after serving his term, he was deported to Belize. He had been born there before his family moved to Brooklyn, and he couldn't return to America, the country where...
How is bro even, like, how is he even out walking around after shooting somebody in the face? What the fuck is that? What the hell?
He'd built his career and lost his freedom. In a 2024 documentary, Shine described what had happened. He said, "When I was an 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my
Michael
mother
Jackson has
proud
good music,
and make Belize proud, I was defending him. And he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me." He said that Diddy pretty much sent him to prison. Diddy walked out of the courtroom a free man, and his teenage artist went to prison for a decade. So our pattern from City College begins, and now someone else is paying the price for Diddy, allegedly. Either way, Diddy moves on, doesn't give a f. Before the Club New York shooting, there was another shadow hanging over Bad Boy Records. 2 of them, actually. On November 30th, 1994, at Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan, Tupac Shakur is in the lobby when 2 men walk in and shoot him 5 times. Miraculously, he survives, and he believes he knows who set him up. Tupac starts naming names and accuses Diddy and Biggie of knowing about the attack in advance. And Chuck Phillips, a reporter who interviewed Tupac during and after his incarceration, claimed that Diddy knew more about the attack than he had let on. And this is what began the East Coast, West Coast beef that would define 90s hip-hop. I read Original Gangsters for a video last year, or was it 2 years ago? I forget. I think it was the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef when I read that.
I mean, yeah.
To understand, to learn.
Yeah, you're not lying, there you go.
It's incredible. It's incredible. The lore is insane. On September 7th, 1996 in Las Vegas, Tupac is shot in a drive-by after a Mike Tyson fight. He died 6 days later on September 13th at the age of 25. On March 9th, 1997, in Los Angeles, 6 months after Tupac's death, Biggie is shot in a drive-by after leaving a party. He died at the hospital as well at age 24. Both murders remained officially unsolved for years, with Biggie still being unanswered. But both highlight the lengths one might go to come out on top of rival rappers in the East Side, West Side conflict of the 90s. It wasn't until 2023, a man named Dwayne Kef D. Davis was arrested for Tupac's murder. During a 2008 police interview that would surface years later, Kef D made the claim that Diddy had put out a $1 million bounty on Tupac and Suge Knight's heads. Diddy has consistently denied any involvement in the death of Tupac, obviously, but in 2025, Kirk Burroughs, a former Bad Boy co-founder who has filed his own civil suits against Sean Combs, made accusations in the Netflix documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning, saying that he believes Diddy had a lot to do with Tupac Shakur's death, and that Diddy had ushered Biggie to his death by pressuring him to stay in Los Angeles despite the danger.
Biggie was only 24, really? Damn, dude, it's crazy to think. It's crazy knowing that we're older. Well, I think you're the same age as him, but I'm definitely older than him. Yeah, wild.
Diddy has been throwing Diddy under the bus for a few years now. And once again, Diddy has consistently denied any involvement in the murder of Tupac, as well as Biggie. His spokesperson called the documentary a shameful hit piece, and the Las Vegas Police Department confirmed Combs was never considered a suspect. These are allegations from someone with his own legal disputes with Combs, not established facts. But those questions have followed Diddy for nearly 30 years, and they weren't the only questions people should have been asking about Diddy. While the public was debating rap beefs and unsolved murders, something else was happening inside Diddy's inner circle. Dawn Richard worked for Diddy from 2005 to 2013, and in her 2024 lawsuit, she described what she had witnessed during those years. According to the filing, she once saw Kim Porter, Diddy's on and off girlfriend and the mother of 3 of his children, leaving his recording studio in tears with visible facial injuries, including a lacerated lip. Now, Kim died in November of 2018 from lobar pneumonia. She was 47 years old, and her death has been ruled as a result of natural causes or death caused by pneumonia. But Dawn Richard's account from 2024 puts Diddy...
I feel like a lot of that has to do, though, with, like, the new gen rappers and shit, and like rap music in general. I mean, I don't know if that's 100% where it comes from, but I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Same with probably TikTok and shit, and like Instagram.
On a timeline that stretches much further back than people realize and are talking about now. According to Dawn's lawsuit, Diddy frequently threatened her during their years working together. He would say things like, "You want to die today?"
Like the NLE Choppa and shit like that.
"I end people," which was more of a statement. And these weren't metaphors, but he believed himself to be a really hard man. And things like that, coming from a man with his power and resources, these could easily be warnings. And then there was Cassie. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring anyway from or anything like having, according to that would looking out. And it was a control start. 2007, Cassie Ventura was living in Diddy's world. According to her lawsuit, the controls started almost immediately. What she wore, who she talked to, where she went. It was a relationship that looked glamorous from the outside, but was a cage from the inside looking out. And she wouldn't escape for 11 years. And when she finally did, she had a story
I know you do, Lance,
that would bring down
I kind of feel the same way. That's why we listen to like
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was filed on November 16th, 2023 and runs 35 pages. It covers 11 years of her life. And what it describes is systematic abuse on a scale that's difficult to process with the juxtaposition of glamour that comes out of that world. Diddy's white parties, for example. I mean, it's just like the pinnacle of, it's what people dream about becoming. Rich, famous, living the celebrity lifestyle. According to Cassie's filings, Diddy frequently subjected her to what she would call savage beatings. He controlled every aspect of her life, and when she tried to leave, he threatened to destroy her career.
I don't think it's rap music because I've been listening to gangster rap for years. Maybe because I've experienced gangsterism, it makes me reject its influence. I think it's how people act online today. Well, that too, yeah. A lot of it has to do with how people are online and in person, like in people in general, like in person and shit too. But yeah, I think it's because like you're immune to it and shit. Like if kids see like gangster rap and shit like that, like if they've never heard it or experienced before, if they see the way they're acting and stuff and they think it's cool, they're going to want to act like that. You know what I mean? But because we have seen it all before, it doesn't really affect us as much. So yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
To release intimate recordings or to hurt the people that she loved. And the beatings weren't even the worst part of it. The lawsuit introduced a term that would later appear 27 times in Diddy's federal indictment, things called freak-offs. According to Cassie, these were multi-day sexual performances that Diddy orchestrated. She was forced to have sex with male prostitutes while Diddy watched and recorded. She was even given drugs to keep going. Ecstasy,
definitely
cocaine,
13 plus.
ketamine, GHB, and sometimes the sessions lasted so long that participants needed IV fluids afterwards to recover. And according to Cassie, Diddy recorded everything, and those recordings were his insurance policy. Blackmail. We live in a nation of blackmail, if you guys hadn't realized, from politics to Hollywood. If anyone tried to leave or talk, he had leverage. Tiffany Red, a friend of Cassie's, testified about the dynamic. She said, the only time he was willing to work
with the headphones? Thank you. My brother gave them to me.
Freak off. And if you remember the hotel footage from the top of this video, the footage of Diddy beating Cassie in the hallway, that was from March 2016. According to her
almost been robbed one day walking home from school. Dude, I have an experience. I don't know if I should share it or not, but well, I'll tell some of it. But there was this one time when me and a friend were going to meet these other people for some stuff. We'll say that. And yeah, it was like a setup, and we got fucking like, yeah, I don't know. They had guns and shit. We got put in headlocks and stuff. It was pretty wild. But, I mean, luckily everyone's alive and shit, but...
lawsuit, she'd already endured 9 years of this.
Had me so mad, bro.
Cassie finally escaped. She started dating a personal trainer, a fellow by the name of Alex Fine, and according to her lawsuit, when Diddy found out, he
At least you're good, though,
She got
Ego.
out, she married Alex, and they now have
that
2
shit sucks,
daughters,
dude.
but she kept all
least
of
you're
the
alive.
receipts and obviously levied them against Diddy back in 2023. And initially, Cassie's full account might have sounded unbelievable if it weren't for what federal investigators found when they raided Diddy's homes in March of 2024. 2 properties, one in Los Angeles, one in Miami, were both raided. Homeland Security agents in tactical gear busted in, and what they found inside confirmed the worst of the allegations. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Not dozens, but over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. What? This is enough to suggest this was not occasional behavior. This was some kind of strange infrastructure for Diddy and his freak-offs. He didn't just go to Costco and buy a bunch of lube like he said. They also found 3 AR-15 style rifles with the serial numbers defaced, which is a big-time no-no and illegal to possess. Dozens of other firearms were found, which is, you know, everybody can own firearms as long as you're not a felon, at least, I guess. Along with mountains of electronic devices that investigators spent months analyzing. The freak-offs,
I don't know if it was what you're thinking of, Lance, because I don't think there was a video of it.
And according to the federal indictment, Diddy's staff booked hotel rooms
at least not that I know
for
of.
these freak-off events. They arranged travel for the victims, and they made sure large amounts of cash were available at the spot. Then they cleaned up afterwards. So the system seemed to be that Diddy would lure women in with promises of career help or potential romantic relationships.
That sucks, dude.
And once they were in his orbit, the manipulation would begin. Drugs made them pliable. Then he would record them to create blackmail, and his staff helped it all run smoothly like some kind of evil business. After Cassie came forward with her lawsuit, the floodgates opened. Audrey English worked as a go-go
What they
dancer
want from
at
you?
Diddy's
Did they
white
just
parties between 2004
just want to fuck with
and
you, or did you have like
2009,
money
and
on you or
according to her
something?
lawsuit, she was drugged and passed off to party guests for sex. Then we have Lil Rod Jones, who was a male producer who worked on Diddy's 2023 album called Love. And his lawsuit described constant groping and being forced to touch Diddy sexually, and witnessing what he called parties where minors were present. Quite a few of Lil Rod's claims have been dismissed, and his attorney did withdraw from the case, but his lawsuit added another dimension to the allegations. This wasn't just about women. Diddy's abuse apparently crossed every single line that could be crossed. Dawn Richard filed her lawsuit in September of 2024. It was sexual assault, sex trafficking, and false imprisonment. She'd spent 8 years watching what Diddy did to others, and eventually she says he did it to her.
Yeah, bro, I feel like the police did know. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were waiting on. I mean, maybe he was paying them off. I feel like that is what was happening, but like, yeah, he should have got arrested and shit and charged like fucking years ago for a lot of this shit, but no, they made him like wait for whatever reason. Kind of weird.
Too. And by the time the federal indictment came down,
especially with everyone like saying shit against him, like this guy, like he made me do this, and like, yeah, like all that shit. Like, how the fuck?
Attorney Tony Busby,
I guess evidence, but not enough evidence. I don't fucking know.
Diddy accusers. Men,
I feel like there's plenty of
some
evidence
who've been
though.
Minors when the alleged abuse occurred. Allegations spanning from 1991 to 2024. That's 33 years. So the Stampede, the Club New York shooting, the white parties, the freak-offs, all in different decades, but all with victims, all with the same pattern, and all with Mr. Diddler at the very center. So Cassie filed her lawsuit on November 16th, 2023, and 1 day later, on the 17th of November, the lawsuit was settled. In 1 day, Cassie accused Sean Combs of years of abuse and sex trafficking, and within 24 hours, Diddy's team made the case go away. And the reported settlement was $20 million.
Bruh.
1 day, Cassie accused Sean Combs of years of abuse and sex trafficking, and within 24 hours, Diddy's team made the case go away. And the reported settlement was $20 million. There was no discovery process, no depositions, no chance for either side to gather more evidence. Diddy didn't fight the allegations in court. He just paid them to disappear as fast as humanly possible. His attorney issued an obvious statement and said, Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. Here's $20 million. The settlement in 2023 bought silence on Cassie's specific case, but it did not stop what started to come next. Within weeks,
if you have enough money, you own the
accusers would
planet.
come
True,
forward.
though.
Joey Dickerson
Low-key.
Neal said Diddy had drugged and assaulted her in 1991 when she was a Syracuse University student. Another woman, identified as a Jane Doe, alleged similar abuse from 2001, and by the end of 2023, there were lawsuits piling up. Diddy vehemently denied everything. Just because I gave someone $20 million one day after a lawsuit doesn't mean that I'm guilty, and doesn't mean that's how it doesn't work like that, guys. When you give someone $20 million to shut up, it doesn't mean that you're guilty at all. And
Elon Musk has probably done insane illegal
things. So he vehemently
too,
denied his guilt, but it certainly showed
rich enough
that
to make
his
it all
empire
disappear.
was
True, though,
vulnerable to actual genuine allegations coming from an actual genuine source. It's worth 20.
No, that's kind of true though, chat. Like, you guys think low-key Elon Musk does like some shady shit, but like pays everyone off so no one says shit? He probably does, low-key.
$20 million to get it to stop. So lawsuits and allegations start
I'd hope
up.
not, but
Diddy gets raided in March of 2024, and then on May 17th, 2024, CNN publishes the hotel footage. The video someone paid apparently $100,000 to bury. Now the whole world could see Sean Combs grab Cassie and abuse her. And it is not ambiguous in any way. There's no possibility of spin. The footage showed exactly what Cassie had described in her lawsuit, and the next day, Diddy had paid to get that lawsuit settled. And obviously, apology is completely meaningless. It just made everything worse for him. He wasn't denying it anymore.
This guy looks
now
like
he's
a
admitting
reptile.
to it on video legally after the $20 million settlement. It looks really, really, really bad across the board. It was with the Facebook apology that his supporters seemed to completely abandon him. Brands cut ties, and the music industry that
oh, spitting facts here, Ego. I've never seen a rich influencer that's not weird. Kind of true, bro. That's kind of true. They start realizing they have power with small things like speeding tickets or expired license discs. You mean license plates?
for some reason
I mean, same
looked the
thing.
other way for
I knew what you meant.
decades, suddenly
Yeah, that's true,
could
bro.
not distance itself fast enough. Then in September of 2024, the Diddler was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan. Diddy's lawyer said later that they'd be negotiating a possible voluntary surrender to authorities. They spoke of the fact that Diddy had come to New York to turn himself in, but that claim does not match what actually happened. Homeland Security agents arrested Sean Combs in the hotel lobby, and the arrest wasn't scheduled and it wasn't coordinated with the legal team. They grabbed him before any deal could be finalized. The next day, prosecutors unsealed the indictment. There were 3 counts: racketeering conspiracy,
each time they
sex
pay it
trafficking
off.
by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. This is
Crimes just keep getting worse and worse.
But the government found some level of this enough to indict, arrest, and prosecute this man. And the indictment described Combs leading a criminal organization that used his businesses, staff, and personal associates to carry out abuse. At the arraignment, Diddy pleaded not guilty. His lawyers requested bail, offering $50 million and home detention with GPS monitoring, which is what every single sweetheart gets when they're rich and famous and powerful. Epstein. But the judge in this case said no. The argument was that Diddy was a flight risk and a danger to witnesses, which I think is perfectly valid and logical. Prosecutors even pointed to evidence that he'd already tried to contact accusers after the investigation began, and they mentioned the guns seized in the raids, the defaced AR-15s for some reason with no serial numbers, which is really suspicious. They also described the
Bro, what is this thing behind him? What the fuck is this? Ugh, I hate it.
pattern of obstruction, then bail was denied. Rip Diddy. So Diddy goes to Arkham Asylum in Gotham. Just kidding, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Then 8 months after his arrest, Sean Combs went to trial earlier this year in May. The courtroom was packed. Media from around the world
That's why I'm trying to get Dex rich so he can pay off my illegal drug collection.
had credentials.
Yeah, I got you, don't
public
worry.
lined up outside for the few available seats. It's obviously a spectacle. Prosecutors warned the jury to prepare themselves as the evidence would include days-long drug-fueled orgies. There would be recordings. There would be testimony from survivors. There would be details that no one wanted to hear, but were obviously required to seek justice. At this point, most everything has come out. The prosecution has a lot to work with, and the defense strategy becomes clear very quickly. Attack the credibility of the accusers and argue that everything that had happened was attack the credibility.
I'm sorry for pausing so much, but this picture just pisses me off. Like, I can literally see this douchebag doing this smug ass look right here with the heart hands. I can just see him doing it, and it just bothers the fuck out of me.
Of the accusers.
Sorry.
And
Anyways,
argue that everything that had happened was consensual. These weren't victims. Diddy's lawyers argued these were adults who made choices and now regretted them. It is the same playbook that has been used in every high-profile abuse case. Blame the victims, question their motives, suggest they want money or fame. And that's not to say that that hasn't been true in some instances. It absolutely objectively has. But in this one, it's really not looking like it. The main question is whether the jury would believe it or not. And Cassie Ventura eventually took the stand to testify against Diddy. She had already told her story in her lawsuit and had already seen the video go public last year, but now she was testifying under oath with Diddy sitting across the room.
True, bro. Yeah, that's what they say.
Something else entirely. She described the first few years of the relationship, how the control started gradually, and how she wasn't allowed to have any male friends, how he tracked her location, how his mood could shift without warning. Then she described the abuse and violence, the first time he hit her, how she learned to read his moods to avoid setting him off, how she told herself it would get better. Then she described the freak-offs, how they started, how she was given drugs, how she had no choice but to participate in whatever Diddy had wanted with whoever he had brought in. Then how everything was recorded, and the defense cross-examined her for hours. They pointed to photos of her smiling with Diddy at events,
exposed every year.
And they highlighted her decision to stay in the relationship. They also suggested the settlement money was her real motive. So that's what the defense was saying, but Cassie and the prosecution did not waver. During Cassie's testimony, she also revealed the settlement amount from her 2023 lawsuit for the first time, which was $20 million. And by July 2nd, 2025, after deliberations that began on June 30th, the jury came back in less than an hour on the final day. The diddler was guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
I'm not gonna get
not guilty on racketeering conspiracy, and not guilty on sex trafficking by force. It was a split verdict, and prosecutors had wanted the sex trafficking conviction because that charge carried the heaviest penalties and would have defined Diddy as a trafficker under federal law. But the jury did not go that far, but they did convict him on 2 felony counts. So Sean Combs, the music mogul worth hundreds of millions of dollars, was now a convicted criminal, not a sex trafficker legally, but rather a guy who wanted to do prostitution. On October 3rd, 2025, Judge Arun Subramanian handed down the sentence to the diddler. 4 years and 2 months in federal prison, plus a $500,000 fine with credit for time already served. Diddy will be eligible for release in May of 2028, and the judge denied a defense request for bail pending appeal. Lots of people called the sentence too light. And look at Harvey Weinstein. He got 23 years, but his first conviction took decades of accusation before anyone even believed the victims there. So who the knows? There's a lot of evil, bad people out there, though. We do know that. And that is really the end of the actual legal side of this. But it's not the end of the full story. There is a ridiculous revenge arc and a...
No. Don't worry, bro. You'll never hear no shit about me, bro. I just mind my own business, keep to myself and shit. If anything, I'll probably get arrested sometimes for being, like, I don't know, too fucking drunk or something. No, I'm kidding. But
a level of pettiness that I have never seen.
Shit, my fault.
Anywhere.
Nah, I never.
All honesty, this is
I'm all
absolutely crazy and a spectacle, and there's way more to this.
I don't
whole
do no
story.
weird shit.
To understand the next part of this video, you have to understand the beef between Sean Combs, aka
My bad for
P.
the cough.
Diddy, and Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. This started in the early 2000s. 50 Cent was coming up. He was hungry and aggressive. Diddy was already at the top.
That photo went hard, though.
Problems began with an uncomfortable encounter. 50 said that Diddy asked to take him shopping. 50 said that that might be something a man says to a woman. And from that moment on, something felt very off, and 50 was not comfortable around Diddy. In 2006, 50 released a diss track that didn't just insult and diss Diddy, but rather accused him of knowing who killed the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. This is when the uncomfortable beef actually escalated into something severe. Business deals fell through. Maze, who'd left Bad Boy, couldn't sign with 50 Cent's label because of disputes with Diddy. Their vodka brands competed directly. Diddy had Ciroc and 50 had Effin'.
Wait, 50 Cent had a vodka brand? I didn't know that.
Or whatever. For years, 50 was trolling Diddy on social media. Memes, jokes,
you know there ain't no seat on that bike, right? Bro, that's crazy.
Constant needling. And when the baby oil story broke, 50 posted about it immediately. When the raid footage emerged, 50 was ready with his commentary. It's unbelievable levels of pettiness, all right, guys? 50 had been watching and waiting, and when Diddy fell, he extrapolated all the value he possibly could from it. And as Diddy's legal troubles were mounting in 2024, 50 announced that he was producing a documentary and that Netflix had won the bidding war. It wasn't just commentary from the outside. It wasn't just a shitty YouTuber video. It would be an actual investigation into P. Diddy. The project had been in development for quite a while, and the timing was perfect, with every new lawsuit, every new accuser, every piece of evidence that emerged fed into the narrative 50 was building. During Diddy's final months of freedom before his arrest, he'd hired a videographer to document his life for some reason, and video crews were following him everywhere. It was supposed to be legacy content, material for his own projects, proof of his epicness and greatness, so he could tell his own story rather than the way he was being portrayed in the media. He would fight fire with fire. The only problem was that Diddy never paid the videographer, and according to Rob Shooter, Diddy's former publicist, there was never a signed contract. In fact, Diddy had a history of failing to have proper documentation.
So that's how 50 got this shit.
Diddy was cheap and refused to do formal contracts. When Diddy got arrested, that videographer had hours of footage of Diddy in his homes, footage of his lawyers, footage of conversations where Diddy discussed the case, and without the contract, the videographer owned all of it. Guess who he sold it to? 50 Cent. And 50 Cent's production team. At least that's the belief. 50 has been hush-hush about how exactly it came to him, but he assures everyone, like myself, that it is legal and that they have the necessary rights while keeping the videographer's identity confidential. Then, just a few weeks ago, Sean Combs' The Reckoning, produced by 50 Cent, premiered on Netflix. The documentary included footage of Diddy telling his lawyers, "We're losing," just days before his arrest. It also featured Kef D's police interview about the Tupac bounty. It showed Kirk Burroughs accusing Diddy of involvement in both Tupac and Biggie's death. I watched it in its first week, and it pulled 21.8 million views. It became #1 on the platform, even briefly dethroning Stranger Things. By the way, season 5, garbage. Hated it. The man who'd spent decades controlling his image was being exposed with footage he'd created himself, but because he's a cheap son of a bitch, his enemy, his most petty enemy got it and made a documentary and put it on Netflix. Are you kidding? That is like
Bro, that's how I feel about Dr. Disrespect, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that dude, and I even hate to say it now, but I used to fucking love watching that dude. Just to only find out that he's low-key a pedophile. Oh my god, that irritates the fuck out of me, man. I hate that. Like, I wish that was not true at all, but yeah, it's crazy, bro. You just really never know. It's
unbelievable
scary,
level
actually.
of hell. Now, 50 could have stopped there. Documentary's a hit. Diddy's in prison. Nope. The revenge is not complete. To promote the documentary, 50 Cent did an interview with ABC News. Not a podcast, not a streaming show, broadcast television, ABC
Mr. Beast and Ty Lil innocent for
ABC
sexual
News?
assault, but he's still
ABC
cheated.
Is
Damn, bro, I didn't hear about that.
At Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution are allowed to watch. When someone posted this theory on social media, 50 Cent reposted it with a caption saying, "I thought about it. What's wrong with that?" So, there's a lot of layers to this. Diddy hired a videographer. Diddy did not pay the videographer. Diddy did not get a contract. The videographer sold the footage to Diddy's biggest enemy. Then that biggest enemy made a documentary that 21.8 million people watched on the biggest video streaming platform in the world. Then that enemy did a press tour specifically designed to be visible from the prison where Diddy is in. Am I getting that right? That is a level of humiliation that is...
I'm be honest, he lost me. Holy shit. What?
Impossible to really quantify.
I swear every Minecraft, Call of Duty, or Roblox content creators are all diddlers. That sucks. Roblox, though, I feel like more than anything. I mean, I don't really know, but there's a lot of weird shit on Roblox. That's why I don't play it. A lot of people want me to play it, but I don't know, man. It's weird.
In my chimp brain. So
a lot of weird shit on there.
Diddy is in jail getting justice, although for not very long.
Plus, the age I am, me playing that, knowing it's like a kid's game makes me feel weird. So
I'm
that's,
sure there's going to be
also why.
An unlimited amount of civil lawsuits that will be waiting. The documentary with 21 million views and the insane level of pettiness from 50 Cent will exist forever. The hotel footage will never disappear. Nobody will ever forget. It seems like Diddy is completely... This is the end of the party for this man. I think the idea of him being able to potentially defend himself by hiring a videographer to follow him around, that was like a pretty good idea and could have
Minecraft
potentially worked for him. But he set up in a way that you really couldn't have planned. I mean, that seems insane. 50 Cent. So, Anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, press the like button down below, and I will see you in the next video.
Chat, that was fire, huh?
It's 1981.
Oh, it went to straight to the next video. All right, horror's from an FBI database. This one's about to be fire too. I just know it.
It's 1981. New President Ronald Reagan has just survived an attempt on his life. An emerging virus called HIV is becoming a growing concern, and workers at a wastewater treatment plant in Richmond, Virginia have just made a grisly discovery. An employee had been walking along the settling basin, a structure used to separate water from solid material, when he saw what appeared to be the body of a young woman. The police were called and the remains were recovered. The woman was young, short and slim, and had a tattoo on her arm reading,
Oh yeah, speeds of
DR.
goat, bro. Yeah.
A forensic analysis revealed that she
Yo,
had
sorry, I haven't been
undergone a
typing. I was doing
hysterectomy at some
the
point
dishes
in
on
her
my own,
life,
but I've been
which might point to
listening.
pregnancy
Hey, I appreciate that, bro. But you're all good.
treatment
No
for
worries.
ovarian cancer,
I just
or
appreciate you
even darker,
listening.
routine treatment at a psychiatric hospital in 20th century America. The hysterectomy didn't have anything to do with her death, however. That came about because of a bullet wound to the head. Other than the surface level information, nothing else could be gathered to tell this young woman's story.
It's a bit bright
So,
there,
using
pal.
1981 technology, the police made a crude clay model of her head, depicting what she might have looked like before she passed to see if the public might be able to identify her. But nobody ever came forward. With no leads and nowhere to look, the police just stopped investigating.
Yeah, 50
Life
was
would
a
go on the
savage for
same
that
as it
shit.
did
Facts.
before. Nobody would ever grieve this woman. Her story would never be told and justice would never be served. She would never even have a name, only ever being referred to as the Richmond Jane Doe.
Yeah, bro, my nose is
And
itchy as hell
unfortunately,
today. I
she's
hate
not
it.
a unique case. Currently, in the United States of America, there are more than 10,000 unidentified bodies. The idea of just coming across a body that never gets identified has to be one of the most disturbing concepts I can think of. In fiction, there's a common trope of an angry spirit haunting a place desperate.
My brain can't comprehend someone doing SA or being a predator. I literally throw up when I hear what some people do. It's disgusting. Dude, facts. I know. I don't know how people do it. Like, it's...
Really
I'm-
trying to get
I
somebody
don't want
to
to know
tell
how
their
people
story.
do it, but yeah,
And these movies
it's
and books
crazy.
usually end with a tragic tale of their death finally being told, putting the ghosts at peace and allowing
Fucked
them
up.
to move on. Horror usually ends up being scarier than reality in most cases, but in this particular realm, reality is much darker than fiction. In real life, the body and the person that occupied it just stays lost forever. Their only memorials are scattered disconnected case files in different law enforcement agencies. In some cases, loved ones are desperately trying to get answers, unaware that the person they're searching for has already been found. But even darker than that, a lot of these people go unidentified because they've just been forgotten about, and the world callously moves on without them.
Bro, how does somebody forget about somebody? How does that happen? How do you just forget about somebody? What? You have to be a sociopath, but hands is a different case, no cap. You put hands on me, I'll forget your gender real quick. I mean, yeah. True, though.
When the Richmond Jane Doe briefly held the attention of law enforcement agencies in the early 1980s, criminal investigations mainly relied on traditional tangible evidence, like eyewitness accounts.
I mean, okay, wait. Let me just. It depends. Let me just say that, because if it's a girl, I would never. But
Fingerprints and ballistics analysis.
a
But
guy
new
pretending to
movement
be a
had been
girl,
gaining
sure.
momentum. Instead of just looking for measurable evidence in individual cases, criminal profiling had police identifying characteristics of crimes that could point to the perpetrator's psychology in some way. This had law enforcement investigating previously overlooked aspects of crimes, like the degree of control used by the offender, the escalation of emotion in the act, and how organized or messy the crime scene was. Identifying these characteristics allowed police to not just categorize the sort of suspect they were looking for, but to also link different crimes together in a way they weren't previously able to using only traditional investigative techniques. But there was a problem blocking that last part from coming to fruition.
Yeah, but
Back
ego,
in
I
the early
think
1980s,
I
law
think, like,
enforcement
if a girl-
agencies were more or less
if a girl continuously hits you, I don't think you're allowed to hit back. I think you get arrested. I don't know how that shit works. I've never been in a situation like that, luckily. But I mean, I feel you, but at the same time, you know, don't get arrested or some shit.
working in isolation from one another. They all had their own specific procedures or paperwork and local files, and there usually weren't any protocols in place to share that information amongst themselves. This caused something called linkage blindness. If a serial offender committed a crime with striking signature characteristics and then went over to another county and did the same crime with the same signatures, those two cases wouldn't get linked together because
Yeah, you
the
still-
departments
that's what I'm saying, bro.
investigating
You
them
still
would be
got in
working
trouble.
isolation.
That's
Even
just
if
how
they
it
did
is,
share
yeah.
information, the documentation would be different and a lot of commonalities wouldn't be noticed because of that. This is what VICAP was intended to solve. In 1983, Los Angeles homicide detective Pierce Brooks would testify before Congress to advocate a
Chat real quick, my bad. I'm hitting the bathroom. Be right back. Gotta pee like a racehorse. Hey, we're back. My fault. I should have went at the beginning of the video, but my bad.
radical new idea. A computerized database to track unsolved crimes that could be accessed by any law enforcement agency in the country. This database would be set up in such a way that the seemingly minute details of different crimes could be linked together, helping investigators make connections they wouldn't have previously been able to make. Brooks' idea was received enthusiastically, with the FBI fully picking up and funding the project. The database will be built and stored at the FBI Academy in Quantico.
Wait, Ego, I'm confused. Is that what you said to like your principal or something?
Virginia in 1985. And while it may have started out with the thousands of different law enforcement agencies around the country having to mail in handwritten forms that would be digitized by hand in Quantico, the procedures would advance over time as the world became more connected. First through fax machines, and then through an interesting new technology called the internet. In the 2000s, the FBI would launch VICAP Web, a fully internet-based version of the database that could be instantly accessed and browsed by law enforcement agencies. While VICAP Web was and is only able to be accessed by verified law enforcement users, the FBI would also create a much more limited but publicly accessible version of the database, which you can browse through a website hosted by the FBI.
Definitely been fucked
over.
While
we talk about things that are scary on this channel, there's usually two categories. Fictional horror tends to be very dramatic and solely relies on artistic elements like aesthetics and storytelling to create fear. It's by design calculated in its delivery. Real life horror...
Can't lie. This one's not hitting. That one's not hitting. The day that almost ended the world, we're gonna try this one.
A routine Friday became the deadliest day in modern Japan. But it was only the beginning.
A tsunami that sent a giant wall of water racing towards the coast.
A sudden
see, I need chaos in 5 seconds, otherwise I'm tuned out.
explosion occurred.
No, I'm kidding, but
something that shouldn't have
this is gonna be better already.
From that moment, the disaster threatened not just Japan, but the entire world.
It is a fact in this part of Japan that at this moment in time, there are not enough living to take care of the dead.
Good thing Tylil was smart and recorded the situation.
First
Damn, dude, that is smart.
On March 9th, 2011, 2 days before the disaster, 11:45 a.m., a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Sanriku, Japan, shaking buildings and briefly alarming residents. It was powerful, but not unusual for a country accustomed to tremors. 3 more earthquakes occurred on the same day, in the same area, each with a magnitude exceeding 6.0. But life quickly returned to normal, and still, no one knew this was the Earth's first whisper before the roar. 11th of March 20 2011, 2:45 p.m. Japan's earthquake early warning system detected the initial P waves through over 1,000 seismometers spread across the country,
3 earthquakes?
and immediately issued an emergency earthquake warning. As a result, high-speed trains came to a halt, factories shut down their machinery, and children in schools were instructed to take cover. Only when the ground began to tremble did they realize something was wrong. But by then, it was already too late.
Cranes up there. They're shaking like crazy. This is massive.
Wow.
2:46 p.m. A 9.1 magnitude underwater megathrust earthquake occurred in the northwestern Pacific Ocean at a relatively shallow depth of 18 miles. The epicenter was around 45 miles east of the Oshika Peninsula of Tohoku, Japan, and the tremors were felt throughout the country and even beyond.
The terrifying moment when it all began. A super earthquake and nowhere to hide.
The most terrifying part was that this was only the beginning. Since Kurihara City, Miyagi Prefecture, was closest to the epicenter, it experienced the strongest shaking, a 7 intensity on the JMA scale. However, very strong tremors were also felt in Iwate, Fukushima, Ibaraki, and Tochigi.
I don't think I would know how to react in a situation like this. I'll be honest. I think I would just shit myself and start freaking out. Dang, isn't it because one of their politicians said Jesus was fake and their statue got... Wait, what? Wait, I'm confused. Why are you outside recording an earthquake? Yo, real shit though, bro. Why are these people outside recording? That's so true though. He has the survival instincts of a ant.
Prefectures. Tokyo, which is about 232 miles from the epicenter, also witnessed the Earth's wrath as high rises continued to sway for minutes. But that's
Holy
not all.
Shit!
Kyoto and Osaka, which are hundreds
Bro, you
of
can
miles
actually see
away
them
in
moving.
western
That was
Japan,
crazy.
also reported noticeable tremors. Outside Japan, parts of China, Russia, and Taiwan also felt the quake. In fact, it was so intense that seismic instruments detected it across the entire globe. The tremors were so strong that they caused the Earth to wobble about 7 inches on its axis. For 6 endless minutes, the Earth did not stop. During this time,
That's kind of
Japan
fucking
realized
nuts.
that no technology could predict and stop what nature had awakened.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, don't get the cover or nothing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just stand there.
Oh my god. This is weird. I've never experienced ground shaking like this.
Mother and child
Bro,
were at
I want to go
home
to
when
Japan
the ground
so
shook
bad.
violently.
It looks so cool there.
Everything around her began to shake violently, and she immediately realized that it was a major earthquake. She quickly grabbed her son and ran outside, hoping that the shaking would stop soon.
Oh, it was a meme. Okay.
When she went outside,
I didn't see that.
She saw
So I
more
was confused
and
for a
more
second.
people running out of their homes, each of them desperately trying to help
Could you
their
imagine
loved
that's what
ones.
caused the earthquake?
Both
That'd be
she and her
crazy.
son survived the earthquake, but the worst was yet to come. Under the ocean, tension had been building for centuries, and on that day, it broke through.
The bottom underneath is still shaking. We were just driving and the car was...
Same here, bro.
was
I'd be
shaking
fucking
from
out
left
of
to right.
here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Everything was shaking. Really, really strong. You can see still the cables up there moving.
When silence returned, Japan did not yet know that the real hell was just happening. Japan's main island, Honshu, had been pushed 7.9 feet eastward, while parts of the coastline had sunk nearly 3 feet, swallowed slightly deeper by the sea. Most of Japan's modern buildings survived, but a significant portion of older structures suffered various types of damage, with oil refineries catching fire under the strong shaking. The Cosmo oil refinery suffered a worse fate as it burned uncontrollably for days,
Jesus,
turning
bro.
the
That was like a
skyline
fucking
black
bomb
with
went
smoke
off.
and ash. The most destruction was observed near the epicenter, as it bore the full force of the 9-magnitude earthquake.
Now I know why
Almost
people die
200
in horror
people
movies.
lost their lives
I mean,
to the
yeah.
earthquake itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the cost of destruction was staggering, an estimated $200 billion US. Yet, even in the midst of smoke and rubble, people believed they had survived the worst. But far below the calm-looking Pacific, the real disaster was awakening. Minutes after the earthquake, the ocean began to rise unnaturally. The first
got hit with a tsunami
ominous
too?
sign of a tsunami.
Yep.
2:49 p.m. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued tsunami warnings. At the time, the maximum estimated wave heights were 20 feet, but a GPS buoy off of Iwate's coast soon detected a terrifying truth. The sea level was rising far faster and far higher than anyone had imagined. This wasn't a wave.
Damn, bro.
It was a wall, and it was going to slam into Japan's coastline.
Live coverage.
Isn't it crazy how the ocean can just rise over your shit? Like over the land? Fucking nuts.
The JMA quickly issued a second tsunami warning, upgrading the tsunami heights.
Oh yeah,
to
you'd
over
definitely be an
33
idiot to stay
feet
here
for
while this
Miyagi
shit's happening.
And 20 feet for Iwate.
But here's the
and
thing,
Fukushima.
like, would they even have planes and shit going out if this shit's going on? Like, would you even be able to leave? I feel like if you knew about it ahead of time, you could, but I don't. Obviously not during, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. That'd be crazy. Just leaving while all this shit's happening. You just see it all going down while you're in the plane.
3:21 p.m. A 26-foot high wave slammed into Miyako in Iwate Prefecture, the closest city to the earthquake's epicenter. Miyako's position along the Sanriku coast, with its deep V-shaped bays, funneled and amplified the tsunami's power, causing it to hit earlier and far more violently than anywhere else.
One of
But
y'all
here's
peed
the
in me last week. I'm
remarkable part.
tired of your shenanigans.
Sanriku
Yeah.
district had already
Definitely mad at
faced the
something.
tsunami's destructive forces before in
Either pee or someone be
1933
littering
and
in it.
1960. And learning from those bitter experiences, protective seawalls were built around the coastal area to protect it from future disasters. It seemed like everything should have been safe, right? But the waves were so high that they crashed down on Sanriku with incredible force that day.
A tsunami that sent a giant
kidnap a
wall
pilot
of
and
water
steal a plane.
racing towards the coast.
Yeah, that could work.
Tossing cars, boats, and buildings like
I don't see why
fragile
not.
toys.
One man heard the sirens and stepped outside, camera in hand, to capture the approaching waves, but nothing could prepare him for what he was about to witness. The ocean was moving faster than anyone imagined,
Damn, dude, this is fucking
swallowing
nuts.
the neighborhood in seconds. He quickly moved towards higher ground, but soon realized that he wasn't high enough. The water kept rising, and the waves turned deadly, tearing houses from their foundations. He survived the tsunami, but a ticking bomb, just 100 miles away, was about to change his country's fate
Holy
forever.
shit, bro.
3:22 p.m. One
That was
coastal
nuts.
region after another was struck by massive waves that swept from Aomori Prefecture to Chiba Prefecture. Each town in the tsunami's path suffered
Bro, all of
extensive
Japan
destruction,
pretty much got
as
fucked up by
buildings,
this thing.
ports,
Holy
and
shit, or at least
homes
the
were torn
the
apart
outside
by
half.
the force of water. The seawalls built to protect Japan's coastal cities proved no match for the tsunami's sheer weight and
Oh my
power.
god, bro. Yeah, if I saw my
Enriquez
car
and
drifting
Takata,
away, I'd be so
waves rose
pissed.
high as a 3-story building. At Koborinaitaro, the water reached 124 feet, and at Omoe Anayoshi in Miyako City, it climbed to nearly 131 feet, wiping out everything in its path.
Yeah, what do you even do in a situation like that? If you just see your car floating, you can't even do anything. Because it's not like you can swim after it and get it, hop in the thing. You just gotta like accept it, like it's gone now. It's a thing of the past, pretty much. That sucks,
This
dude.
was the highest tsunami wave ever recorded in Japan, which means that many residents had no place to run or hide.
These images from Japanese TV show the terrible
Bro,
power of
I'm
the
now
water,
more thankful than
sweeping
ever that
away
I'm in an
whole
ocean
shipping
landlocked
containers
fucking
and crushing buildings like
state.
tin cans.
I don't have to worry about this.
3:25 p.m.
Thank God.
Surging water swept through coastal towns, leaving behind vast stretches of wreckage. Kuji
Earthquakes,
in
I
the
do,
southern
though.
part of Ofunato
I mean,
were
it barely
among the
happens,
hardest
but
hit. with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble across a 420-mile stretch of Japan's eastern coast. From Erimo in Hokkaido to Owarai in Ibaraki, the devastation was catastrophic.
Dude,
Much
I know,
of it
right?
Occurring within the
Like,
first
what do you even?
hour
There's like
after
nothing
the
left.
earthquake struck. About 200 people, teachers, children, and parents were sheltering from the earthquake inside the Noeru school building.
The teachers were like, let's go check the classrooms to make sure everyone's okay and start getting everyone to the gym.
They believed the worst was over, unaware that
That dude
the
was a
ocean
teacher?
preparing a new merciless strike.
Look, young as
Some guy
hell.
with a helmet on, he ran in and he was like, tsunami's coming. And then
I mean, he kind of has a
the
stash,
principal
but
was like, okay, everyone run back to the school. And he said he saw a wall of water coming. So he's like, everyone run back inside.
The tsunami tore through the school like a raging beast, smashing walls and sweeping away everything and everyone in its path. Risking his life, David Shum tried to save as many as he could, pulling children and adults from the chaos of water and debris.
I saw like one of my kids, like he was like struggling. So I grabbed him, I grabbed his shirt, and I was able to like pull him over to the side, and he was able to grab onto the railing. And I helped heave him over, and I saw like a big desk with like 4 or 5 of my kids like hanging on to it. And
bro said, make sure everyone's okay, or just leave and save myself. Yeah, that one sounds better. Nah, dude, I mean, I feel that, bro. Like, oh, that sounds so fucked up, though. But, oh, God, that's so, oh, God, yeah. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. If I was in this situation, I don't know if I would try and save other people. I mean, obviously, my family, I would. But, like, random people, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm just worried about myself and my family. We're getting the fuck out, you know?
they're like saying, you know, they're
I don't
saying,
know, man, yeah.
help us.
I felt
And
that.
finally I was able to like grab a hold of the desk and pull it closer to me, and then was able to grab them one by one, and we were able to get them over.
We find the toys, books, the shoes of the children piled inside with care and respect. 108 people were in school that day. 74 children and staff were killed.
And for the few
Damn,
who
dude, that's
survived,
crazy.
The true ordeal was only beginning. 30 minutes after the major waves had struck the towns, the
Fuck
floodwaters
that.
began to recede.
That's literally Armageddon
The
shit.
receding
Oh
water
my
moved
God.
with almost the same
Oh
force
my
as it
God.
had when it came in, dragging debris, vehicles, and collapsed buildings back into the ocean.
Holy
Many people
shit,
who
bro.
had clung to debris or floated on rooftops during the flooding were mercilessly swept away with a powerful current. Others who had fled to higher ground helplessly watched their broken houses being pulled away into the sea. It was in this moment that people realized the true extent of the devastation.
Bro.
Entire stretches of low-lying land remained submerged, making rescue operations nearly impossible. By the end of the day, more than 18,000 people
Don't
had
matter if
lost
they're
their
okay for
lives,
dead, bro. I
out
mean,
of
yeah,
which
you're right.
several
That's a
thousand
valid
bodies
fucking
of
point right
victims
there,
were
damn.
never
Got me
recovered.
with that one.
The aftermath was unbearable to witness. Entire towns had vanished, replaced by
Holy
silence.
shit, bro, whoa! Oops, I think I went that way
1,000
too far.
bodies of victims were never recovered. The aftermath was unbearable to witness.
Chat, the fucking cruise ship is on top of the house. What the fuck?
Entire towns had vanished.
Holy shit, bro.
Replaced by silence and debris. 2 sons combed through the wreckage for their family, only to find their mother inside her car.
I can't lie, that was pretty
lifeless,
nuts.
Beside their niece and nephew.
There is no place to put this many bodies. The morgues are completely full. And frankly, there aren't enough people to move them. It is...
But I mean, if I see a fine shit in trouble, I might risk my life. True, though. I felt that.
a fact in this part of Japan.
That's the only way.
that at this
Yeah,
moment
I
in
agree.
time, there are not enough living to take care of the dead.
The
Little Asian
devastating
baddie?
tsunami did not stop at Japan's shores. It burst from the epicenter, racing across the Pacific Ocean at nearly 500 miles an hour. Within hours, 12-foot waves struck Hawaii and the Aleutian Islands of Alaska, before reaching California and Oregon. In Crescent City, the waves destroyed the harbor. Docks were torn apart, boats smashed, and damage reached $25 to $30 million. In Santa Cruz, dozens of boats sank, piers were shattered, and losses exceeded
Holy
$17 million.
shit.
After
Jesus.
18 hours, The tsunami even reached Antarctica. A foot-high wave broke off part of the Salzburger ice shelf. But while everyone was trying to comprehend the scale of the catastrophe, a more deadly crisis was unfolding at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The site had silently turned into a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. The power plant is located in Okuma and Futaba towns, Fukushima Prefecture, on Japan's
30 mil
east
chump
coast.
change for the
When
government.
earthquake
Yeah,
struck
low
at
key though, right?
2:46 p.m. The plant lost its main power supply when transmission lines went down, so the reactor switched to emergency.
How much money does the government even have? It's got to be more than trillions, right?
Diesel generators.
Kind of curious
keep the
about
cooling
that.
systems running and prevent overheating. Inside the plant, Atsufumi Yoshizawa, an engineer responsible for reactors 5 and 6, had no idea that what seemed under control in just 55 minutes would turn into a full-scale catastrophe. A 49-foot-high tsunami wave struck the Fukushima coast,
Trillions, yeah,
towering over the plant's 19-foot seawall and overwhelming everything in its path. The wave flooded the plant, destroying diesel generators and electrical systems in the basements. Within seconds,
Government supply billionaires.
the facility
True,
was plunged
yeah,
into
that is
darkness. Cooling stopped, and the temperature in the reactors began to rise rapidly. The emergency signals coming to Yoshizawa were getting worse and worse. At that moment, he realized that the situation was getting out of control, and the station was on the verge of disaster. The Japanese government quickly ordered the first evacuation within a 1.9-mile radius of the power plant. Residents in the 2 to 6 mile zone were told to stay indoors. But as radiation levels spiked, the evacuation zone was expanded to a 6-mile radius. 7:30 p.m. Despite desperate attempts by engineers to reduce the pressure, the reactor continued to heat up rapidly. By morning, the temperature had reached critical levels, and internal components of the reactor began to melt, bringing disaster closer. 12th of March 2011, 3:36 p.m. A
This was in
hydrogen
2011?
explosion ripped
Shit.
through the first unit, tearing off the roof of the reactor building. It was now clear that the Fukushima nuclear power plant was out of control, and the government quickly expanded the evacuation zone to 12 miles. But the nightmare continued. For 2 days, specialists fought desperately to stay.
Less than 20 seconds for 20 billion, bro. That's fucking nuts.
Stabilize the plant.
That's insane.
But on March 14th,
Must be nice.
at
Holy
11:01,
shit.
the third unit exploded.
Dude, I don't even know
more
what I would do with
powerful
$1
than
billion.
first,
I'll be
causing
honest. I
seismic
don't.
damage and the release.
I'll
of
never have that
radioactive
money, but like
waste
even
at a partial meltdown.
like, I
of
don't
the
even
core occurred
know what I'd do
in
with
the
it.
second reactor. On March 15th, 2011,
So much money, bro.
The second unit began to massively release.
I could literally buy
radioactive
everybody a
gases.
house.
Although
I mean, not
there was
everybody,
no
but
explosion there, this release
definitely
gave
everyone
the
in my
highest
family.
radiation levels. On the same day, a fire broke out in the spent fuel storage area of the fourth unit, which released additional radionuclides into the atmosphere. It was then that Atsufumi Yoshizawa realized that Fukushima
Never say
had
never,
finally
brother.
turned into
I
a
mean,
full-scale
true. That'd be
nuclear
nuts being a
disaster.
billionaire, though.
The situation's still far
Off
from under
YouTube,
control. We're
the
hearing
first billionaire
radiation
or
levels
something.
inside the
Well, I think
plant
Mr.
reached
Beast
as high
already
as
did that. but
1,000 times the normal
That'd be
level.
kinda nuts.
What started as a natural disaster has the potential to become an even more threatening man-made disaster.
The power plant had reached its most critical phase.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I want to be a billionaire because that's too many eyes. Eyes watching. You know what I mean? If you're a billionaire, you're a big name. Everybody knows about you. You know. I don't know if I like that.
And most people were expecting an evacuation. However, a small group of men, later known as the Fukushima 50, stayed inside the nuclear plant. These men...
Wait, okay. Again, sorry for the pauses, but actually, that I take that back because there are billionaires that some people like don't know about. Like, no one knows their name type shit. That is a thing. I did forget about that. But still, I don't know.
Employees, engineers, technicians, and operators had a terrifyingly clear mission: stabilize the reactors, prevent a full meltdown, and contain the radiation at any cost. The Fukushima 50 were not soldiers or heroes by choice. They were ordinary workers who refused
I mean, yeah,
to
that is
leave
true. That is
when
true.
their country
You're not
needed
wrong,
them
yeah.
most.
It's frightening.
Good point.
I don't know much about radiation, but I believe that being exposed to large amounts
Someone
of
knows
it
someone, but
meant
no one
certain
knows
death.
everyone.
So fear is only
That's a
natural.
bar.
But counteracting that fear was a sense of
Spitting
duty
facts.
that all of us felt.
Yoshizawa and his colleagues remained at the plant for an entire month, working under deadly conditions to bring the station under control and restore hope for a safer future. In truth, without the Fukushima 50, the nuclear disaster could have been far worse, and the world might look very different today. Neo Kimura lived with his wife and 2 daughters next door to his parents. When the tsunami struck, the waves swept away his father, his wife, and his youngest daughter, 7-year-old
Damn, dude, that
Yuna.
sucks. That's fucking sad.
All that remained was the empty foundation where their home once stood.
This is a shoe she was wearing that day, which was found in a heap of rubble 6 months after the disaster.
Man kept her
Unfortunately,
shoes. That's fucked.
there was no time to mourn his
Sucks.
family, as Neo had to vacate the area due to the looming threat from the Fukushima power plant. More than a decade later, the remains of all 111 people who died in Okuma that day have been found, all except for Yuna. By March 20th, power to the plant had been partially restored, but it took several more weeks before the cooling systems were fully operational. The explosions left behind more than just ruins.
They couldn't hear. I
Radioactive
don't know. Yeah,
particles
I
spread
don't
across
know.
Japan,
I feel like you'd be able
reaching
to, right?
even the United States and Europe. TEPCO later admitted
Like, you
that
definitely
over
would hear all the
10,000
destruction and
tons
shit
of
going on.
contaminated water had leaked into the ocean. The fallout rendered vast areas around the plant uninhabitable. Even after years of cleanup, more than 100,000 people remained displaced. The Fukushima disaster became the costliest nuclear accident in history, with expenses exceeding $180 billion. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake was not only the most powerful ever recorded in Japan, its effects were felt around the world, and debris from Japanese towns still wash up on the North American coast,
Jeez,
a
dude.
haunting reminder of that day. More than 120,000 buildings were reduced
Staying
to
in my
rubble.
house would be the last
Nearly
thing I'd do in an
20,000
actual
lives were
disaster.
lost,
True, though.
and thousands remain missing.
I can hear my neighbor's
The total
garden hose. I'm
damage
pretty
reached
sure they heard the
$235
tsunami.
billion,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
making it the most expensive natural disaster in human history. Japan has risen to its
Yeah, I
feet
can hear the
once
cars
more.
outside. There's no way they
But
can't.
March 11th,
can't hear that
2011
shit.
left a scar not only on its land, but on the world's collective memory. A reminder of a power that shows no mercy.
Maybe the guy had headphones in or some shit. That video was
March
crazy.
5th, 2016, at the Intercontinental Hotel.
Okay, this is the dude that we watched 2 days ago, 3 days ago, but it was a different video that we watched. This one's does the CIA make people disappear? This one sounds very interesting. See what happens.
The CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. Does the CIA listen through our phones and
Don't like
laptop
that.
cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off.
It's about to be a banger.
Hello, I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and I'm here today to answer questions from the Honesty Box. The first one is, what did the CIA actually do? There are several answers to that question. What the CIA is supposed to do, what it is legally tasked with doing, is very
Survival
simply
instincts of a
to
mosquito.
recruit spies, to steal secrets, and then to analyze those secrets to give the president and other senior policymakers the best information with which they can make policy. Now, in real life, it's not
Thank
that
God I
simple.
don't live in the U.S.
The CIA
Yeah,
does
man.
whatever the president tells it to do.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a good country over here, but lately, and I mean, well, honestly, for quite a while, it's been a little corrupt, a little fucked up, a lot of shit going on.
That could be
But-
to overthrow
What
foreign
can I do
governments.
about it?
It could
I-
be to
I would stop
implement
it, but-
covert action programs, to influence the foreign media, to even kill people. It just depends on who the president is and what policy he wants to implement. What skills make a good agent? You might be surprised by the answer, actually. The CIA, when it recruits spies, when it recruits operations officers, doesn't necessarily look for the big, buff guy who works out, every day or 6 days a week. They look for people who have sociopathic tendencies, not sociopaths. Sociopaths are impossible to control because they have no conscience. They blow right through a polygraph exam, but they won't take orders. People who have sociopathic tendencies do react to a polygraph. They do experience regret or remorse. They will respond to directives and orders. I'll give you an example. When I first was recruited by the CIA, I was asked in a group of new hires what we would do if we got a cable from CIA headquarters ordering us to collect information on the Indonesian economy. You recruit the Indonesian economic secretary, you make him your best friend, you spend money on him, your wives become friends, you vacation together, but you learn that he is just not recruitable. So what do? Well, one of my colleagues said, you double down, work the case another 6 months, and hope for the best. A second colleague said, maybe you work it through your wives, maybe your wife can convince his wife to give you the information.
Hey, bro, I just gotta say, we're not all bad. You like me, I'm from the U.S. We're not all bad, I promise you. I promise.
I raised my hand and I said, you break into the Indonesian embassy and you steal it. And the instructor said, that's exactly what you do. That's a sociopathic tendency. What's the coolest piece of spy tech you ever got to use? There's kind of a dirty little secret about spy tech, and it is that 95% of it is purchased from Amazon.com.
Oh.
Seriously. Because
Tough.
It is cheaper and it is quicker just to go online and buy it and then use it operationally than it is to invent it from scratch. The coolest piece of spy tech that I ever used.
All right, Chad, who's down to be a spy? Shit.
It was a leather briefcase. I just went into the local marketplace in Pakistan and bought it. I think it cost the equivalent of like $10. And over the course of 3 days, one of our technical officers pulled the threads out of it, installed a wire all the way around the briefcase, which could act as a listening device, and then packed the area around the wire with these little teeny tiny batteries that I had never seen before. And then he sewed the whole thing close again. So I walked into a meeting with my little briefcase. The bad guy took the briefcase from me, opened it up, looked through it. It didn't have anything in it because it was all sewn into the lining. And we sat there and had the meeting while my colleagues half a mile away were able to listen to the entire thing. It was very cool. Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car.
Okay, wait, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of knew that they could do this shit, but like, it's like a good thing, but also a bad thing at the same time, because it's good they can do this to get weird fuckos off the off the internet and shit like that, or like anyone who's doing like wrong stuff. But like, I don't know, it's weird that they could always be like watching you type shit. That's scary. Don't like that. Do I want to risk my life and invade people's privacy who hate me because of my profession? Hell yeah, man. Make me a spy. Right? Low-key sounds cool.
Computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked. Are hitmen real? Yeah.
Bro, oh my God, that's a bar. Who knows what they're fucking doing that hasn't been leaked? That's so true.
Yes.
They probably are watching me right now.
At the National Security Council, there is a committee that meets every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock to draw up something called the kill list. They sit around a table and they...
If they are watching, they're probably like, damn, dude, this fucking kid does the same thing every day. He just goes to his computer, streams to people, fucking...
They make a list of all the people that they want to kill that week. And then they take it back to the CIA, which has a dedicated unit. I won't tell you the name, but it has a dedicated unit
go watch
that
someone
takes
else.
receipt of the list. They say, okay, number 1. They drive to the airport, they get on the plane, they go out to that country, they kill the person, they come back, and then they go to number 2 on the list. That happens every single week. Now, we can have a conversation about whether that's right or whether it's wrong. It's certainly immoral. It's illegal, but it's been tasked by the president. At the same time, they will tell you there hasn't been another 9/11, has there? Maybe it's because we're out there killing people.
What kind of people would be on that list?
Oh,
this guy's a fucking
dangerous
savage. This guy's a savage. He's like, maybe that's because we're out there killing people. We're just getting rid of them before shit even happens.
Terrorists in the world.
Jeez.
Or at least people that the CIA deems to be the most dangerous terrorists in the world.
Kind of respectable.
How does the CIA recruit spies in foreign countries? That cuts right to the very heart of what the CIA is. The CIA trains its officers in something called the asset acquisition cycle. It has 4 steps: spot, assess, develop, recruit. So let's say you're a brand new CIA officer overseas. You get out there and mingle and go to diplomatic cocktail parties or go anywhere where there might be a viable target for you. You spot the target, you go up, hi, how are you? I'm the new officer at the American Embassy. I'm covering political affairs or economic affairs or trade or whatever it is you're doing. You exchange business cards, that's spotting. Assessing is I say, so what do you do for a living? If you tell me that you do something that I'm operationally interested in, that's my assessment of you. Then I develop you. That's actually the fun part. That is us going to lunch and going to dinner, and I spend money on you because I have literally an unlimited budget to do so. And maybe we go on vacation together. And
I'm sorry, what? Bro just said he has had unlimited budget to do so? The CIA really be hooking you up like that? Just died to a robot on our creators. Remember, I killed it on -0 ping using your supercomputer 1 trillion megabytes Wi-Fi speed, bro. Yeah. It's them making me miss my shots, not me, bro. It's them. It's because they're behind my computer making me miss the shots and stuff. Yeah. Bringing for the government is the last thing I'd want to do. I know it's true, though.
And
real
our
shit.
wives are friends, and you mention offhandedly that you like to go fishing, let's say. So I charter a boat for $4,000 and I take you deep sea fishing because you could never afford to do it on your own. And then we become best friends. And because we're best friends, I say to you, hey, would you do me a favor? Yeah, I'm sorry to ask, but you know, the Russians have this new tank, and I know that you guys have access to the plans, and I would really appreciate it if you could just make me a copy of those plans. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it would help me a lot. So, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. Give me I'll pick them up tonight. And then maybe I start giving you a little bit of money.
True though, bro, yeah.
And then finally, when it comes to the recruitment, I say,
bro's got the most expensive suit on.
I haven't been totally honest with you. I'm actually a CIA officer. Undercover. Are you okay with that? You're a great guy, and you're my best friend, and how about if I give you $5,000 a month, and you just answer my questions, right? That's cool, right? And you undoubtedly will say yes, and the rest is history.
Got to be a good actor to do that. Pull that off. Yeah.
And a sociopath. Do you ever fear for your life? Not now, but over the course of my career, I did several times. And I'll give you one example. There were 2 active assassination attempts against me. In one, I just got lucky. And unfortunately, my next door neighbor was killed instead. He was the British defense attaché in Athens, Brigadier General Stephen Saunders. I think about it every single day. In another, an enemy country sent one of its officers and a double agent to kill me, but we had advance warning that it was going to happen, and we were able to, neutralize the threat, as they say in the movies. But there was another experience that I had that troubled me deeply. I was serving in Pakistan at the time, and I was staying in a small guest house because it was safer than a big hotel. Sure enough, the big hotel was blown up and 45 people were killed while I was living there. But I left my guest house at a different time, like I did every day, and took a different route, like I did every day, to go to work. And I noticed that a man on a motorcycle wearing a red helmet was trying very hard to stay in my blind spot. I worked 12, 14 hours, whatever it was that day, and I left, and it was dark, and sure enough, there he was again. There's a definition of surveillance. It's multiple sightings at time and distance. So I've seen him multiple times at different times of the day and at different places. I'm definitely under surveillance. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got in the car, drove a block, there he was again. So when I got to the office, I said to the security officer, I am under surveillance. I'm 100% sure that I'm under surveillance. He said, well, let's wait until the chief comes in. When the chief finally came in, I told him the story, and he said, well, you know what you have to do. I said,
kill him.
I'm going to kill him if I see him this afternoon. I was worried about it all day, and all my coworkers came up to me that day to slap me on the back and say, don't worry, we're all going to be out there. We're going to have a whole security team. I said, I know, but I never killed anybody before, and I'm so worried that he's going to kill me before I get a clear shot at him.
Bro, the fucking CIA is just like, yeah, don't worry, you got this. Just murk him. It ain't shit. Okay, cheering him on. You got it, bro. You got it. Headshots only. No, imagine, though. That'd be crazy, but... Bro is not from Men in Black assassinations. I'd resign the next day. True. My salary better be 30 mil a month. Oh, that'd be insane, bro. 30 mil a month?
That afternoon, I had a meeting at a safe house that we shared with
I don't even know what I'd do with that.
And
even $1 million, bro, I don't know.
On my way out at the end of the meeting, and I don't know why I did this, but I turned around and I said, General, are you following me? And he said, no, why? And I said, because I'm under surveillance, and if I see this guy again, I'm going to kill him. And I never saw him again. I learned later
that was definitely him then.
Several of their officers were sitting around and saying, you know, that new American guy, he's such a nice guy. Nobody's that nice. I wonder if he's being nice just to try to make us drop our guard. And they decided to put the worst surveillance officer in their entire intelligence service on me. And if I hadn't said something that afternoon, he would be in the ground today. Does Trump have the UK and Europe's back? No.
Oh.
He doesn't. When we hear from journalists or political figures that Donald Trump doesn't like the Europeans, he doesn't like NATO, he doesn't like the European Union, we should take the man at his word. I don't think he does have Europe's back or even the UK's back. When he says America first, he means America first, whatever that means. He has an idea in his own mind, but I don't think he cares one whit about Europe. Which film or TV series portrays spy work the most accurately? Great question. I will tell you that at the CIA, we watch every single spy movie and spy series. All of us do. I'm proud to say that I have been the script advisor on The Bourne Ultimatum, on Kill the Messenger, on True Lies, and on Burn Notice. We love this kind of thing. Most of them have nothing whatsoever to do with the reality of the CIA, except a couple. In terms of TV, Homeland, wow, they got it right. The only thing that they got wrong was if you go crazy, they send you to the hospital until you're not crazy anymore. In movies, there was a movie that came out in 2004 called The Recruit. The first half of the movie, where the lead character is going through training, 100% accurate, except for one minor difference. They didn't beat us in training. Everything else that he went through,
geez,
we
I
went
fucking
through it in
hope not.
spades. Most other movies, stinkers. And listen, just as a general rule, if somebody calls the CIA the company, turn it off. Is social media the biggest intelligence gathering tool today? It is absolutely one of them, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I was always amazed when I was at the CIA at how targets, legitimate intelligence targets, would literally put their entire lives on LinkedIn and Facebook. Incredible. You don't even have to do any research. They lay it all out right there on the screen for you. So the answer is yes. If you value your privacy, if you don't want to pop up on the radar, you have to stay away from social media.
Well,
what was
I lost.
9/11's impact on the world?
They know everything about me.
You know, I was in the CIA's headquarters on the morning of 9/11. Well, we knew we were at war. And one of the first thoughts that I had that morning was, does Osama bin Laden have any idea what he's done? Does he have any idea how many people are going to die? We all knew what the American response was going to be. It was going to be merciless. The question is, what was 9/11's impact on the world? It was dramatic and lasting.
I feel like Osama definitely knew what the
almost
hell
24
he was
years after the
fucking doing.
9/11 attacks, and we still can't go through airports with our shoes on. Untold trillions of dollars have been spent on counterterrorism and defense, and
Actually, I
that
should
is
say,
probably never going to change.
Bush.
Why are there so many wars in 2025? Well, do you want my real answer or do you want my diplomatic answer? My real answer is the U.S. has a defense budget that is bigger than the next 8 largest countries combined. After 9/11, the U.S. entered into something like a permanent wartime economy, where if we didn't have a war to fight and to finance, we would actually go into recession. Now, we see ourselves as the world's
That's kind of fucking
peacekeepers.
nuts.
In many cases, we're not. We tend to be places where we're not wanted or welcome, and we end up forgetting to leave. There's an old joke inside the CIA about Iran. Like, why would Iran put its country right in the middle of all of our military bases? There you have it. Why are there so many wars? It's because the U.S. has an activist foreign policy, and sometimes we make friends on the wrong side of issues. Can the CIA make someone disappear without a trace? You bet they can, and they do all the time. In the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks,
Don't like
the
that.
CIA created,
I figured
for example,
this, but Jesus.
an archipelago of secret prisons, and they would just disappear people. We would capture people in Al-Qaeda.
I might have sociopathic tendencies, and I think if superheroes or secret agents existed, people like me would be the best option. Wait, huh? Secret agent. What do you mean? Like, to be like the villain side of things? Is that what you mean? Or like to join forces with like that shit? Be a part of it, like the CIA and stuff. Bro saying he would be in the ground like he should be in the ground. Yeah, real shit though.
Qaeda safe houses, for example, let's say in Pakistan or Afghanistan, and we would ship them off to these secret prisons. And when I say secret prisons, I mean in many cases they were...
Real quick, back to the superhero thing. Would that not be sick if there was like actual superheroes? Low-key, that'd be sick.
So secret that even the presidents and prime ministers of the countries where the prisons were based
like imagine
didn't
you could
know that there
fly
were
or
secret
something,
CIA
or,
prisons
like, turn
in their
invisible.
countries.
That'd be so cool.
So the CIA can make people disappear in that respect. They can kill people and just bury them, you know, in some crazy foreign land and nobody would ever know. But if you're a CIA officer or better...
Bad idea. Yeah, I feel that. It would be cool, but yeah, there would definitely be a lot of chaos and stuff going on.
Or yet,
It's
let's
a
say
cool
you're
thought.
a KGB officer and you want to defect. The CIA will give you a completely new identity, more money than you can ever count, and
Greedy,
you and your
I
family
agree,
can live
I
happily
agree.
ever after, you know, under the name John
100%.
Smith, and nobody would be the wiser. How does the USA track terrorist threats? They use something called the terrorist matrix. It's also called all-source intelligence. Believe it or not, members of terrorist groups actually give press interviews in which they telegraph what they're
All major
going to
crimes
do
should
in
be
their next
punishable by
attack.
death. True.
That's one way. The media. Electronic surveillance. It could be intercepting cell phones, intercepting emails, intercepting encoded messages. Even intercepting messages from game platforms. We have satellites that track these things. We have spies.
Oh, they spying on us gaming now? No fucking shot.
Providing what's called HUMINT, short for human intelligence.
I mean, makes sense,
so
but
you use
shit.
literally every
We can't even
source
game no more,
at
bro.
at your dispense and put this matrix together to try to disrupt that next attack. Can you be a spy and have a moral compass? What a great question that is. I'm going to say yes because I had a moral compass. It cost me my freedom. It cost me my job. It cost me my family.
Oh,
But
yeah, chat, that's right. This guy fucking, yeah, he went to like, he like sued the CIA or tried to, but they put him through like hell and back. I think that's what the last video was about, if I remember correctly. He somehow won the case,
There
but
are
it took him
some
fucking
things
years. And he did
that
jail
you
time.
are tasked to do.
I think he's
as
a whistleblower.
A CIA counterintelligence officer.
It's all coming back to me now.
That you just have to say no to. There are some things that are so immoral, so unethical, in many cases so illegal, that you just...
Why did he sue the peeps that hired him? Basically for the corrupt shit that they were doing, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I forget what he said in the last video. The first video we watched about him, the first reaction live stream I did, that's where we watched it. He said about it in there. I forget exactly what it was, though.
Should not do it.
I'm pretty sure it was because
what is
of the
the
corruption.
most controversial thing you've worked on or heard about? It has to be the torture program. I went to prison for 23 months for...
Okay, yeah, I think it was this. I think it was the torture program right here. Yeah, he's about to talk about it.
Or heard about. It has to be the torture program. I went to prison for 23 months for going public with the CIA's torture program. I went on ABC News in the United States in December of 2007, and I said three things. I said the CIA was torturing its prisoners. I said that torture was official U.S. government policy. And I said that the policy had been personally approved by the president himself. The FBI investigated me.
Crazy.
They determined I had not committed a crime. Then Barack Obama became president. They secretly reopened the case against me. I was indicted and charged with 5 felonies, including 3 counts of espionage for giving this interview. Remember, espionage can be a death penalty charge. I had 3 of them. Well, I hadn't committed espionage, and finally, they dropped those charges. But I ended up taking a plea to a lesser charge just to make this thing go away. I had 5 kids at home. I had gone bankrupt from the legal expenses, and I was facing 45 years in prison. They offered me 23 months, and I took the deal. But I would do it again today if I had to, because somebody had to stand up and say that this was wrong. Shouldn't torture be legal if we...
Goat shit. Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved. Jesus.
Are protecting American lives? Absolutely not. Not under any circumstances. Torture doesn't work. Torture is illegal internationally. It is immoral. And you end up making a recruitment video, essentially, for your greatest enemies. For example, when it became apparent that the U.S. was torturing military prisoners at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, and video was leaked showing those prisoners in orange jumpsuits.
That's crazy, bro. That's funny.
Bought orange jumpsuits and made its kidnapping victims, who were mostly aid workers and American journalists, wear orange jumpsuits and then beheaded them on camera. They did that only because the U.S. was torturing its prisoners. So torture does not work. Torture is illegal, it is immoral, it is unethical, and no one should be in the business of doing it. What's the most dangerous country in the world right now?
Okay, wait, 1 second, my bad. Did he say that's why ISIS was doing the beheadings?
They did that only because the U.S. was torturing its prisoners. So torture does not work. Torture is illegal.
Yeah, I think he
it
did.
is immoral.
That's
it is
insane.
unethical, and no one should be in the business of doing it. What's the most dangerous country in the world right now? Also a good question. There are several.
It's gotta be Russia.
And I've been to all of them. I never got to go to the nice places. I went to 72 countries with the CIA, and almost all of them were just awful. Some of the most dangerous places in the world are Yemen, Somalia, Gaza, Afghanistan,
Okay.
parts of Pakistan.
Maybe not Russia at all.
You have to sleep with one eye open. You just never know how
I know
bad
we're
things
cool
are gonna
with
get.
Russia,
I'll give
but
you an example. I
thought their military was low-key
I went to
stacked.
Yemen 5 times, and every time I went, it was worse than the previous time. The 5th and final time that I went, we were only allowed to stay at one hotel. The hotel had a 30-foot high wall around it to protect it from bomb blasts. You couldn't stay in any of the other hotels by then. Well, the day after I arrived, a group of South Korean diplomats arrived. And on the drive...
Most accurate hero I'd probably become is a mix of Omni-Man and Season 3. Is Omni-Man good? I still haven't watched that yet. My brother has been begging me to watch that. Is it good? Like, actually good? No, he's talking about safety, dangerous, not powered. Oh, okay.
From the airport to the hotel, they were ambushed, and they were all killed, 6 of them. A couple of days later, a group of South Korean intelligence officers arrived to investigate the murder of the 6 diplomats. And they were ambushed, and they were murdered. And so the South Koreans just closed their embassy and went home. That's a pretty dangerous country. What do you make of U.S. foreign policy right now? A complete and utter disaster. I've never seen an administration that works so hard to offend and alienate our friends. Threatening to invade Canada? That's an act of war.
Yeah, bro.
Canada is not just a NATO country, but it's a Five Eyes country. Five Eyes being the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, the closest alliance in the entire world. And what, we're going to send an army to Canada and overthrow them? It doesn't make any sense. Even if you're joking, why would you even joke like that out loud? We don't coordinate with our European allies. We're threatening to invade Panama, to take the Panama Canal. We're threatening to invade and annex Greenland. It's craziness. So I'm not a big supporter of U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah, Invincible, that's what it's called. Not
Does
Omni-Man.
China
Omni-Man's
actually
from
pose a
Invincible,
real
yeah.
risk to the West? I think
Omni-Man killed
no.
all his villains. Damn.
And I'll tell you why.
He's a demon like that? Shit.
China simply does not have a history of expansionism. If you put aside Tibet, which the Chinese have always claimed to be a part of...
Isn't he in Mortal Kombat, Omni-Man?
China. The Chinese have never invaded another country. They had a little border skirmish with the Vietnamese in the 1970s. They had a little border skirmish against India in the 1960s. But they don't invade countries. And they have only one military base outside of China. It's in Djibouti, and believe it or not, they share it with the United States.
Djibouti?
It's the U.S. that sees China as the big threat, and Australia and the Philippines kind of see China as a threat. But the Chinese are perplexed as to why we so distrust them. Is there a threat from China to Taiwan? Of course there is. Taiwan is also seen by the Chinese as being a legitimate part of China, but there's no indication that the Chinese are preparing any offensive measures against Taiwan. I just don't see what the big threat is. Is the CIA or MI6 more elite? MI6 is an absolutely top-tier, first-rate service, but it's like comparing apples and oranges. At the CIA, we used to say how much we wished we could be like MI6.
They can't do it again if they're dead. I mean,
because
yeah,
MI6 is
brutal.
Small and it's lean, and when they decide to do something, by God, they go out and do it. At the CIA, when we decide to do something,
it's on Amazon,
we have
right?
6 layers of bureaucracy that we have to go through to finally get permission. And then the attorneys get involved, and then you have to send it to the president, and then he has to sign it or change it or reject it or do whatever it is that he has to do. They don't have that kind of a problem at MI6. They just report directly to the prime minister, and they can get things done. The CIA has a budget that absolutely dwarfs the MI6 budget, and we have our own, high-level technology budget, satellites and spy planes and all kinds of crazy things. So they're both great services, but they're different at the same time. Are sleeper agents real? Yes, they are. And the country that is the best at using sleeper agents is Russia. The United States doesn't have a program of sleeper agents, and I'm frankly unaware of any Western intelligence service that has sleeper agents or that uses sleeper agents. The Russians have an army of sleeper agents. In fact, just in the last 2 or 3 years, a group of Russian sleeper agents in Northern Virginia including one in my neighborhood, were disrupted and arrested. So what a sleeper agent is somebody who is trained as an intelligence officer, who is then sent to the United States or the UK or Brazil or Paris or wherever, and told to just get a job, any job, and be a national of that country. And so you've got people who, in the case of what happened in Washington recently,
Season 3, Marcus Chill,
one was
being the strongest
an elementary
on the planet
school
and still
teacher,
listening to humans is
and
wild.
one worked for an airline.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Everybody thought they were Americans, and in fact,
hey, this guy's describing. I thought sleeper agents was something totally different than what this dude's describing. What the hell?
they're collecting classified information, mostly from U.S. defense contractors, and secretly transmitting it back to Russian intelligence in the evenings. They were disrupted and expelled from the United States. Is chief of disguise a real job? You bet it is. They have the most fun in the world. On the day that I got hired, I was sitting with 2 other brand new officers, and I sat down. I said, "Hi, my name's John. It's nice to meet you both." They said, "What are you going to do here at the agency?" I said, "I'm going to be an intelligence officer.
He's
I have
100% the
degrees
cool
in Middle
uncle.
Eastern studies. What are you guys going to do?" The woman said to me, "Oh, I just graduated from the Falls Church, Virginia Academy of Beauty." Academy of Beauty. She ended up becoming a master disguise maker. And the guy on my left was a cartoonist for his college newspaper. He drew a little cartoon that was very popular. He became a master forger. So it doesn't really matter what your background is. If you're good at it, there's a place for you at the CIA. And many of those places are working for the director of disguise. What made you decide to blow the whistle? It's very brave. Thank you. You know, at the CIA, we are trained to believe that everything in life is a shade of gray. And that is just simply not true. Some things are black and white. They're right or wrong. And the United States has laws that ban torture. We have the Federal Torture Act of 1946. We are not just signatories to the United Nations Convention Against Torture. We wrote the United Nations Convention Against Torture. In 1946, the United States executed Japanese soldiers who waterboarded American POWs. In 1968, an American soldier waterboarded a North Vietnamese prisoner and was given 20 years at hard labor in a military prison after being convicted of torture. The law never changed. So how is it then that from 2002 to 2005, torture was somehow magically legal? It wasn't legal. We were committing crimes against humanity. And so it was something that I having known the details, I couldn't sleep at night. And I believed, and in retrospect, I was right, that the American people had a right to know what their government was doing in their name. And I'm proud to say that because of my revelations, the McCain-Feinstein Amendment was passed into law, and it formally and permanently banned torture.
Have you investigated any of us before this shoot?
Yo, that video was pretty good, damn. I like that guy. All right, we got one more. Well, maybe 2 more. This is the last one, but I'll maybe throw another one. This one's only 11 minutes down here, so we'll see. Cop films himself doing the unthinkable.
We are now going to conduct a criminal investigation.
Go ahead. Where the you want me? Go ahead.
I want you to shut the up while we explain.
You know what? No, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
You want me? Go ahead.
I want you to shut the up while we
You
explain.
know what? No, dude.
Yeah,
That's
jeez.
not very
Just gonna
professional,
explain
is it?
something.
Why am I under arrest? For what? For what?
For being drunk.
Because you cannot approve on the you proved me over. You shot nothing. You is all I gotta say. You.
When a routine DUI arrest takes a shockingly
Holy
violent
shit.
turn, it results in not only a brutal injury, but will spark criminal
he just
and
laid her
internal
the fuck
investigations
out.
that will end one officer's career. The following is based on official
I'm
police
locked
records,
in.
and the footage has
Holy
never been
shit.
seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On December 6, 2024, at 10:38 p.m., the Ormond Beach Police Department responds to a traffic crash where a motorcycle carrying 2 people was struck by a vehicle.
I apologize. Okay.
Sorry.
I understand you're upset.
Just, like, if you see my helmet, all I just saw was asphalt, and I just hit the sidewalk. That lady's screaming at me. If you see under the car, she just poured her whole drink out. She is wasted. Okay. And I'm so pissed.
Okay.
Because she's like,
all right.
You stopped in front of, it was the red light.
Okay.
She just hit us at the red light and then screamed.
You were
at
the
me.
passenger?
Yes.
Officer Melissa Edmonds pulls the driver of the motorcycle aside. Though she doesn't know it yet, this routine investigation will take a dark turn by the end of the night.
It was the red light, so I was coming slow. Okay. And I'm guessing she didn't see me because it's a motorcycle. And she just slammed in the back, and it threw my girl off. She was stunned, so she slammed her brakes right here, and I pulled up right here. I'm surprised the back of the bike's not smashed. It hit me out. It stunned me so hard.
Despite this, neither the motorcyclist nor his girlfriend report any injuries. Another responding officer approaches the driver of the vehicle, who has remained inside her car. Please note that the police department blurred her face in this initial footage. However, later, the redaction is removed.
I'm not sure what you're asking for right now, but...
Just your license, registration, and proof of insurance. For the third time, your license, registration,
I'm trying to find it.
and proof of insurance.
Here, my license is in my wallet.
Okay, we'll start with that. Your license.
Where's my purse? I have no idea. This is my jacket.
I don't know, ma'am. I wasn't in your vehicle earlier. I'm not.
Bro, you can barely understand her. Holy shit. I will say, like, I drink and stuff, but, like, there becomes a point where you have to make yourself stop so you don't get like this. A lot of people don't have that, like, I don't know, ability, attribute, if you will, to just, like, stop. Know when you're at the limit, you know what I mean? Because, like, crazy shit like this can fucking happen with alcohol. Be safe if you're gonna drink. Don't be fucking stupid. Learn to control yourself.
Control your belongings.
Learn how to stop, too.
Though she doesn't find her wallet or ID,
a lot of this shit
the woman
happens because of, like,
identifies herself as
overdrinking and shit like that.
46-year-old
Don't
Shauna
overdrink.
McCree.
You gotta know when to
Shauna had
stop.
just left a Christmas party before the accident occurred.
I was going straight and this girl, like, jumped right in front of me.
She jumped in
And
front of
I
you?
couldn't stop. But
So-
no, I was going straight.
Was she traveling in front of you, or did she turn in front of you?
I think she was traveling in front of me.
Okay.
It went very quick.
Okay, and then you just hit the back of the motorcycle?
Yeah.
The officer gives Shauna more time to look through her belongings before he returns again.
Did you find your ID?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Did you find your insurance card?
Oh, wonderful.
Like, I can't do that for you. I can't produce the that you want. This is all I got, dude.
Is that why you're crying?
No, because I'm crying because you want me to produce this that I cannot produce.
Okay. You don't have to cry. It's just,
No, it's... Dude, yes.
it's not a big deal. I'm just asking for your registration.
Big deal. You want to laugh about it?
I'm not laughing at
You want to laugh about it, really? You think it's
Jesus,
funny?
bro.
Do you
Jesus.
see me laughing?
I do see you laughing. I do.
The officers soon wrap up the crash portion of their investigation,
I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I've done both. That's tough.
sending the motorcyclist and his
Just be
girlfriend
safe with
on
it.
their way with a case number.
If you're
for
gonna
the
do it, just be
accident.
safe.
They then turn their attention entirely to Shauna.
You wanna
What the
take
hell
a
was
step
that?
out?
Car making progress?
Absolutely. All right. Okay. All right. We're gonna step right over.
I would
here
say,
to
like, hey,
me.
don't do it, but I
Okay.
do it, so it's
Okay.
like, I don't know, it
Right
would be,
here. On the sidewalk.
No, just on the sidewalk.
On
what's
the
the word?
sidewalk.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Where do you want me?
Right here on the sidewalk.
Are you arresting me or what?
For what?
Where do you want me?
Right here on the sidewalk.
Fuck, I can't think of the word I was
Okay,
thinking of,
where?
whatever.
Actually, better yet.
Where?
Hey, why don't you just relax? Because you're.
Safe with what? I don't do any of it. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I've done both. Huh? What do you mean you don't do it if you've probably tried it one time. Okay. Oh yeah, one sip of beer, didn't like it. One vape, didn't like it. Well, there you go. I mean, shit, bro. It's not for everybody. Maybe it's a good thing you don't like it, you know?
No,
It is okay to be, like, straight edge and sober and shit, so good for you.
they're arresting me for some bullshit.
Honestly, sorry. So many pauses, I know. Goddamn. I used to be like that, too. Like, I never wanted to do, like, never wanted to smoke weed, never wanted to smoke, none of that shit. The only reason I started low-key, as sad as it is and as sad as it sounds, which low-key, I mean, it's not really an excuse, too, now I think about it, but shit with an ex happened. I got cheated on, blah, blah, blah. Mad depressed. Needed something to fucking take my mind off shit. So, long story, but that's pretty much how it happened. Now I'm just hooked.
Well, for first, you're going to shut up for a minute while we explain something to you.
What?
Our traffic crash investigation is done. We are now conducting a
She
separate...
pulled right out in front of me.
Shut up. We are now going to...
I'm germophobic. I think those chems have diseases. You're probably not wrong there. I'm not gonna lie. If they don't have diseases, they definitely got a lot of weird, gross shit in it for sure.
A criminal investigation for DUI.
Though Shauna has read her Miranda rights and agrees to the field sobriety test, actually completing the exercises will prove to be a challenge.
Just sit still. No, where the you want me? Go ahead.
I want you to shut up while we explain.
You know what? No, dude.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
not very professional, is it?
I don't care.
It's not very professional, is it? Talk
Well,
to you.
listen,
ma'am.
she's gonna explain some things to you.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Out of his face. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Shut up and listen.
Stop talking.
Shut up and listen.
Whatever. Go ahead. Okay, so now we're doing what's called the changing of the hats. This is a criminal DUI investigation.
Okay, why is she not in cuffs?
I am under the impression that you are severely under the influence of alcohol. Do you want to participate in standard field sobriety exercises? Yes, I will. Okay. Yes, I will. In order to do that, you have to listen, you have to follow directions, and stop talking. Okay, yes, I will. Okay. I'm totally ready for it.
To start, they have Shauna follow a stimulus with her eyes before moving on to the next test, walking heel to toe and turning.
All right, when I tell you to start, you're going to take 9 heel to toe steps. That's not fair. Hold on. That's not fair.
Even after
Jesus,
receiving a
dude.
demonstration from Officer Edmonds, Shauna struggles with
She can't
the
even stand up
exercise.
straight.
Like, I don't understand what you want me to do. Like, I'm here, and I see 1, 2, 3, I just 4, said I'm going to want me to go this way? Go back to the starting position. Like, what do you want me to do?
Tell you what. Let's move
Like,
on to the next one.
honestly-
Clearly, she doesn't understand the instructions.
No, I don't understand what you want me to do.
They move on without Shauna finishing the second task, now asking her to stand on one foot.
1001. 1002. Until I tell you to stop. 1003. Do you understand the instructions? 1004. Do you understand the
Keep
instructions?
going.
1005. Yes,
Yup.
no. And then what do I do? What?
I'd say I'd move on to the next one. It's called the 1015. It's one of my favorites.
Agreed. Wait, no, you're
That's where we arrest you, isn't it? Yep. There it is.
Grab me.
Yeah, you're being grabbed because you are under arrest.
Why am I
Nah, that's
under
crazy.
arrest? For what?
Man said this is my favorite.
DUI with a crash.
For what?
For being drunk.
I'm not drunk as No, I want to know why the guys pulled me over.
And then you're going to get another charge for disorderly intox.
Why? Why? Because you guys
What you're
can't
doing now is
prove why
disorderly.
the pulled me over?
Wonderful.
What? All right. You're the
Chat, there's 2 different types of drunks. There's people like this, and then there's happy drunks. Don't be like this. Jesus Christ.
I've been called worse.
I'm sure you have.
So you can stop trying to pull away.
She
You're
has a
walking
fucking
little faster
Grinch
than
shirt
my
on.
pace.
You know what?
Tis the season. God.
Wonderful.
You.
This is your car right here.
Because because you have no reason to take me down.
Nope.
No reason whatsoever.
Stand back here next to
For what?
47.
Tell me for what? Tell me for what?
You.
For what?
Because I have
You have nothing. You have nothing on me.
foot in the
You have nothing on me. You. What? What?
Though it takes a few attempts, they eventually get Shauna's foot inside the car.
There you.
Watch
stop.
your face. She's a pleasant woman.
Shannon's number 3D for BTO.
Okay.
It's almost like a demon
Although he's only mentioned quickly, Officer Jacob Cannon, who's been asked to administer a DUI breath test for Shauna, will be central to the shocking turn this case will take. Just after midnight on the 7th, Shauna is brought into the Ormond Beach Police Department's holding facility, where Officer Edmonds is met by Officer Cannon.
Why am I being in here? Why? I want a reason on why. Why? Because you guys cannot protect me on why. Because nothing.
Don't hit her though. Me personally, I'm not getting mad. Yeah, I don't know like what makes this guy hit her. I'm curious to see what happens here. I think maybe he just gets sick of her fucking shit. He just gets tired of her. I don't know.
Something to you. Because you have nothing. He has to read something to you. No, because you have nothing against today. Because I have nothing.
Well, she is a little rowdy, huh?
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Shannon McCray.
Hi, Mr. Craig. I'm Officer Cannon.
Hi.
You got to do what's called a breath test.
Okay, go ahead.
Put him in the observation.
Go ahead. I was standing up for that. I'm not allowed to, alright? Because why? Because is that it? Because you guys control the. You have to stay seated. Okay, fine.
Are you going to be calling off to sit here?
Absolutely.
They inform Shauna that there will be a 20-minute observation period before the test will be conducted. After a few minutes of silence from Shauna, she tries something new to get the officer's attention.
What's about to happen here? I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the fact that she keeps opening her legs. What the fuck is about to go down, bro?
When this doesn't work,
okay,
Shauna
not what I
tries
thought.
Again.
She's just a fucking demon.
Is all I gotta say. You. Seriously. You. You're pathetic. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. Pathetic. Pathetic. Sit down, please.
It's self-control why I get pissed off by a drunk person. Yeah, I don't know. It's like getting mad while a kid is pressing you. Yeah, I don't really know, man.
Sit down, please. Shanna, you gotta sit down. No, you guys are pathetic. Have a seat, please. You guys are pathetic and you know it. You don't give a shit about normal people. You guys don't give a
I am curious. Sorry for pausing again so much, goddamn. But I am curious to see if she, like, does something to him that makes him punch her, or, like, if he just loses his shit. I guess we'll see. But, like, bro, that
For
first
now,
clip, bro,
Officer
he
Cannon
rocked
is able
her
to
shit.
ignore Shauna's
That was
outburst,
insane.
but the situation will soon escalate. For the next 10 minutes, she continues with almost no response from either officer.
And you guys know, like, deep in your hearts, like, you know it's but you were just not man enough to deal with it.
Oh, she's calling out his
Finally, the
manhood. That might
observation
have pissed him
period is
off.
over, and it's time for the breath test.
No, I'm talking to her.
Okay. If you want to, she can sit in here too. Like so.
Maybe not.
That's fine.
You want to just have a seat right here in this straight chair for me, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Here's the
Alright. So again, this is a fresh breath piece, okay?
fine.
Shauna successfully completes one sample of the breath test. Police documents indicate that she has a blood alcohol content of 0.24, which is 3 times the
Holy
legal limit.
fuck.
Though Shauna begins the second sample, she stops just before it can be completed.
I don't have to do this.
Well, you do if you
No, I don't. No, I
Well,
don't.
refuse once.
No, I can go to jail, can I?
Officer Cannon attempts to explain to Shauna why she must complete
just
another
lost his
sample.
cool.
However,
think he
this
might
is
have,
the
yeah.
moment. Everything takes a shocking turn.
I have to pee, so I can't do anything without
Well, as
pee.
soon as you blow in here and make it right.
Yeah, I mean, I am blowing hard enough. I'm ready to pee. You don't have that access against me. You think you do, but you don't. You don't. You think you have this against me, but you don't. Either you take me to go piss, or I'm dead. No, take
Jesus. Oh my God. We didn't see that in the clip. Jesus, bro.
After Shauna was placed in the holding cell, Officer Cannon checks on the Intoxilizer 8000 instrument, but doesn't attempt to provide Shauna with any medical assistance, despite her leaving a trail of blood from the room into the cell. Officer Edmonds is the one to call for medical aid. Though the footage is redacted, in the immediate aftermath of the incident, Officer Cannon can be heard calling his captain.
She jumped up and went to charge out of the room, so I went to place her down, and she went to try to charge out of the room. So I went to, because she said she had a piss, So I went to grab her, and she pulled away. And when I did, I tried to put her in a chair, and she fell out the chair and smacked her head on the glass. Pulled the BTO machine onto the ground and everything.
Following the
my
call,
God,
Officer Cannon
bro.
also
Holy
discusses the event
fuck.
with Officer Edmonds.
I never get pissed, but when I do, it's very bad. Dude, same, bro. Same. I'm usually chill 90% of the time, but yeah, bro. When I get pissed, dude, I turn into like the Hulk type shit, bro. Felt that. Yeah, very fucking yeah, bro. But I won't lie, dude. Seeing shit like this infuriates me. Like, cops abusing their power and shit makes me so fucking mad, dude.
She's dragging blood.
This is crazy. I mean, granted, she is fucking like hammered and shit. Like, she is acting out of character and stuff, but like this fucking dude, God, man. Holy smokes.
I sit her back down in the chair.
That's what I told him. I was like, all he did was try to sit her back down, and she slipped and hit.
Yeah, she was trying to run out of the room.
Yeah.
So I went to grab her, and
it didn't look like she was trying to. Bro, the girl cops low key like trying to like help him out here. Yeah, she tried running out of the room. I didn't see her do that. It didn't look like she was gonna do that. Like, holy jeez, bro. Last time I lost it was like 4th grade or something. Damn, bro, that's pretty good, man. That's good. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know when the last time it's been for me since I lost my temper. It's been a while. I don't know, a year. Not very, very long, but like.
I didn't slam her. I didn't do anything.
Was she pushing against you?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see that part.
Jesus.
EMTs soon arrive, and Officer Cannon once again explains what he claims happened to Shauna. During this explanation, he also included her second fall when she was. Police documents state that once in the holding cell, Officer Cannon said that Shauna
What just
tried
happened?
to come at police cell. Police documents state that once in the holding cell, Officer Cannon said that Shauna tried to come at him again, and he extended his arm and indicated that she ran into his hand. He described it as like a stiff arm. During a later interview, one of the EMTs described what Officer Cannon had told them about Shauna's second fall.
I know he said at some point she had advanced on him to where he said that he pushed her to distance themselves, and then from what he said, a fall occurred there.
Shauna was soon transported to the Halifax hospital. Following this incident, the Intoxilizer 8000 instrument was out of service due to unknown damage, causing an operational failure. The incident was immediately referred to an external investigative entity, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, which initiated a criminal investigation. An internal inquiry began as well. As part of the dual investigations, Shauna was interviewed. Officer Jacob Cannon declined to be interviewed, and during this time, he was suspended with pay. This was soon adjusted to a suspension without pay.
Do you have any recollection of being in that?
Bro somehow didn't
room?
get fired. That's
Not
insane.
to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I was told by the nurses there that I had, for the police officers, that I had ran and fell into a table. And that's how I got my gash on my head.
As part of the investigations, Officer Edmonds was interviewed as well.
Was there like a lot of blood around her face and everything else, or no?
Her head was bleeding. Her hair was wet with blood.
According to police documents, Shauna
Damn,
received
bro.
a serious bleeding
Holy
laceration to her
fuck.
forehead from striking the metal frame around the glass wall of the breath test room. The medical team estimated that it was a 1.5 to 2 inch wound, and she received 7 sutures to close it. As well, she had swelling in her wrist. Police documents note that she'll have a large permanent scar. As part of the investigation, Shauna provided a medical bill of $25,424.80 for services
Gives me a headache
she
just
received
looking at
while
it.
in police custody.
Did she do something that caused Officer Cannon to respond in that manner?
So
Nah, bro.
I don't believe she
should have been
was
arrested and that's
going
it. Definitely not
tense
beat
enough.
like this. Hell no.
At most, maybe she was with her torso maybe leaning forward, but not by much. I didn't feel like she was being threatened.
Shauna's actions in the room were examined, and it was determined she didn't lunge forward, kick, spit, or do any other active physical resistance prior to her injury.
Yeah, see, she literally didn't. Oh my god, bro.
Yes.
It happened.
She was literally just standing
extremely
there.
fast.
That's a little fucked.
There was not a buildup.
Not a little fucked.
I
It
had
kind of like
no
it's pretty fucked.
preview that was about to happen. It happened literally in an instant.
The investigation also determined that Officer Cannon's actions were so abrupt and immediately violent that Officer Edmonds could not have been reasonably expected to intervene or prevent the excessive force from being applied. On January 31st, 2025, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement received an arrest warrant for Officer Cannon, charging him with felony battery.
They arrested him?
Just a
Shit.
few hours later, he submitted his resignation from the Ormond Beach Police Department. Just 37 minutes after that, Jacob Cannon arranged that he would surrender to the arrest warrant and the Volusia County Branch Jail and was taken into custody. Shauna pled guilty to the charge of DUI with damage to persons or property and was sentenced to 2 days in the Volusia County Jail with credit of 2 days served, 12 months of probation, and 50 hours of community service. She's also to refrain from drinking alcohol, and her driver's license is suspended for 6 months. According to court records, Jacob Cannon eventually pled guilty to the felony battery charge. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail with credit of 11 days served and 2 years of probation. If you'd like to see select new videos early and help us keep uncovering case files that rarely come to light, you'll find extra footage and
I fuck with these body cam videos. I like watching these. These can get pretty nuts. Let's do one more. We got one more.
The FBI just accidentally
They accidentally leaked the new Epstein files, and it's really bad.
released 11,000 Jeffrey
I mean,
Epstein
shit, who would've
files
guessed?
that they hadn't publicly put out yet, but we got access to them. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to access them. Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the files, but you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. And so myself, the guys at Jmail, and the guys at DropSite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files. And they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did. We've been looking through it. I want to go over some of it because I believe some of what we've seen directly contradicts the FBI's earlier statement that, oh, there's no evidence, or we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. That's what they told us, right? They said, we've already looked through the files. You don't need to see the files back in July. Of course, all the pressure has made them now start releasing some of this stuff. And we believe that this was slated for release, but remember, they weren't going to release all the files yet. They had to hold some back. Well, we believe that these 11,000 files are part of what they held back, because clearly they aren't out, and clearly they were ready, because a lot of these are redacted. I mean, already you can see we found several files that were, once again, over 100 pages of redacted information. So it was all ready to
They
be
just
released.
blacked out
Why
everything.
it wasn't. But let me caveat before we get into the material that this is a breaking story, and as such, I'm sure there's going to be some pieces of information that we are interpreting or trying to interpret live. And because of that, I want to warn you to withhold your judgment on some of this stuff until we get more evidence. I'm sure the president's going to be asked about some of this stuff. I'm sure Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi, they're going to get asked about this because it is extremely damning, I think, what we see in some of this. Specifically, I want to draw your attention immediately to the 10 co-conspirators that are mentioned in some of these emails in 2019. Now, this is just alarming stuff, because prior to this, remember that all we really had was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only people who have ever faced any charges at all. Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one who actually faced consequences, right?
Every
But in
action has a
2019,
reaction,
apparently
true.
there were 10 co-conspirators. Now, the people who were sending this to and from have been blacked out, but at the bottom we see that this is the violent crime section,
Doesn't mean you
crimes
can't be
against
punished for
human
those actions,
trafficking
though.
unit.
Remember
and we
that.
can see that of the 10 co-conspirators, 3 have been located in Florida, served grand jury subpoenas, 1 in Boston, 1 in New York City, 1 in Connecticut were served. 4 out of the 10 are outstanding with attempts having been made. What is a wealthy businessman in Ohio? A lead is being sent to CV, and the remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. This is stunning stuff. Previously, we did not know how many co-conspirators were suspected of, or I'm not aware of anything like that. And additionally, some of the details on this are revealed later, because we see this subject line. It says co-conspirators at the top, and it says blank does not need to head out. We made contact with blank last night in New York City. Blank last night in New York. Contact was made with blank, blank, and blank. By the way, I love how these potential co-conspirators are people who are
I mean,
being
it
blacked
depends
out.
on
Like,
what it
why?
is, bro.
I thought the whole point
But
of this was
I
you
feel
couldn't
that, yeah.
redact people for personal
It just depends
information
what it
reasons or
is.
for public
You
embarrassment.
wouldn't
You could
always
only
be
redact
guilty
on the
unless you do
basis of
something
it
like
being a
that's
victim,
bad. You know
and
what I
I'm
mean?
not
Then you
sure
would
how
be.
these people could possibly be victims here.
Epstein files Transparency
But if you're not
Act
doing anything
prohibits
bad,
redactions, quote,
then you're not guilty.
on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, positively not.
But anyways, you can see that it says attempts were made to Blank and Brunel. That's Jean-Luc Brunel, the famous pedophile who's now dead. Blank is confirmed to live in New York, was away for the holiday weekend. We did not have a good address, but an attempt was made in New York. Attempts are made to Maxwell today. Blank, you get it. Like, it's all the people they suspected this whole time are redacted, of course. And they say, I do not know about Ohio contacting Wexner. Now, that's a reference to Les Wexner, the former CEO of Victoria's Secret. This is huge. We've long suspected that he was, of course, one of the co-conspirators. And obviously, the fact the FBI suspected it isn't a 100% proof confirmation. But clearly, they were serving grand jury subpoenas. I mean, that must be who they're talking about, one wealthy businessman in Ohio.
More like if I
confirmed
did something
by
different, this
whole idea
wouldn't
of
have happened.
Ohio contacting
True,
Wexner.
yeah.
And you can see at the bottom, this is from the FBI New York. When you get a chance, give me an update on the status of the 10 co-conspirators. This is really bad to know that we knew as early as 2019 the right people to target, and yet our FBI, who's had evidence of this the entire time, or leads on it, has declined to prosecute, right? Because this is what the FBI now tells us. Oh, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's what they wanted us to believe in July. Fast forward to December, we find out there's 10 guys that they knew about since like 6 years ago. You know, it's insane. Even over here, we see that in one of the lawsuits.
All right, bro. Where's the list?
This
at?
is with Maxwell.
I want to see who's on the Epstein
actually
list.
wanted to refer to people at trial as co-conspirators of the defendant, aka Maxwell, for the purposes of
That's why I never get pissed or lose my
Epstein,
cool.
And there are
Yeah, that's
two
valid.
names
Very valid.
listed there who are going to be listed as co-conspirators.
Very smart too.
Again, who are those people? We were told that the only co-conspirator now is Maxwell, and if you don't believe that, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. But back in 2020, this was a idea not just promulgated by wackos, it was promulgated by who? The FBI themselves, the Department of Justice. Look at this. Co-conspirator question transcript. This is from USA NYS. They say, question, when Jeffrey Epstein died, a lot of people asked, who's next? Is the government going to hold people who are accused of helping him recruit these girls? Are they going to hold them accountable? And then the answer is, well, I'll note that the original charges against Jeffrey Epstein contained a conspiracy charge, and we allege that there were conspirators involved. Jeffrey Epstein couldn't have done what he did without the assistance of others. And I can assure you that our investigation is moving forward, except I guess not.
Hook.
Against everyone except for Ghislaine Maxwell, it got killed. Like, Ghislaine Maxwell was the only one who faced justice.
If she didn't
right?
go on and
Except
get drunk,
then
she
she
wouldn't
got
have
moved
got
to
slammed.
Club
I mean,
Fed,
true,
to this
yeah.
nice prison, right? And by the way, that a whole
And if the cop didn't
interesting
leave the
interview
room
we
when
saw
the
happen
girl
with Todd Blanche,
asked her to, he
Trump's
wouldn't have lost
former
his cool.
defense lawyer. So he got
Cop
grilled
didn't
on
leave the
Meet the
room
Press
when he-
about his relationship. Like, why did Ghislaine Maxwell go to this nicer prison?
I don't remember the
Immediately
girl
afterwards.
asking
And while
him
he
to. I don't
declines to
remember that.
comment on it, he says something very
I
interesting.
thought she asked to go to the bathroom.
Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison Security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you
But
have
I think
anything
it's
to
fair
do with
say
it? Did
that
you
at
have
the
anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Miss Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her. And the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life. So the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety.
All right, so he's like, yeah, that's crazy. No, I'm not going to talk about that. But every decision lands on my desk. I mean, eventually he goes on to say that, oh, she was in so much danger. We were worried about her safety as a prisoner. I just got to say, there's a lot of concern about Ghislaine Maxwell. All of a sudden, I don't know where that came from. There's not a lot of concern about these conspirators that I guess we've swept under the rug, that we don't care about anymore since 2019. I guess we knew about them and didn't care. And what's even more concerning is our president also seems concerned with the wrong people. Like, while Todd Blanche is concerned about Ghislaine Maxwell's safety and well-being, you've got Trump concerned about the people who are going to be unfairly implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein files, rather than worrying about how to catch the people that we obviously let go through the cracks.
The victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, you know, but I think it's terrible. Look, I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me, too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago.
Now, I'll be honest, he gets off track from here, but the point he was making is that those poor, innocent, bankers who were meeting with Epstein, the poor lawyers who were meeting with Epstein, like all of Epstein's friends are just caught up in this unfortunate thing. And it's just such a reversal of what previously the DOJ and FBI believed. In fact, they believed it so much that they got a federal search warrant
I forgot about
for
that.
the SDNY, and they got it. And part of the seizable data, part of the stuff that they commanded them to seize as part of the search warrant, which, by the way, I think you need some kind of like standard of evidence for. I'm not a lawyer. You guys can chime in. But you can't just get a search warrant without some kind of evidence that you believe there's a crime that's been committed. And part of it says,
why do you need evidence, though, if, like, hella people are coming forward and saying that, like, shit's been going down at the Epstein Island and like, shit with Epstein and all this? Like, how do you, if there's multiple people saying this, how do you, what? Why do you need fucking evidence? What just 9 people are, well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could come up with a group of 9 people that are finna lie, but
evidence concerning the identity or
That's
location
crazy
of
to me,
co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, including Blank and Ghislaine Maxwell. So again, who is Blank? Well, they keep redacting the names of these co-conspirators, uncharged, remember, and now they're saying we have no evidence to charge anybody. Clearly, they had evidence for a search warrant, and it's just completely ridiculous that some of this stuff is redacted and that we're viewing the rich and powerful people who are mentioned as the victims here. Now, that's all I want to talk about for now. Remember, this is a developing story, so there's, I'm sure, going to be more evidence that comes out. I will try to keep you updated. I'm probably going to cover more of this stuff in the future because there's so much here, but I had to get this out while it was basically not public yet.
Okay, this video is not what I thought it was, but it's still kind of interesting.
We don't know. But you can access all of it at jmail.world. I'll leave a link in the description. They have a special like drive section. The original pitch was it's like email, but you're logged in as Jeffrey Epstein. Now they've made it like the entire Google account, so you can log into his drive folder and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's a great UI,
That's
but more importantly, it makes it all very searchable and you can look at it. I think you'll all really enjoy it. I also wanted to give a special shout out to the Drop Site team. And finally, we just uploaded on CoffeeZilla. I don't like to upload the same.
Yeah, should we check out the Epstein list? Should we peep it? The fuck is this? I feel like I'm watching shit I shouldn't be watching. Jesus, dude. Look at all the shit they take out of it. Like, what the fuck? What's the point of even releasing this shit if you can't even fucking see nothing? Look at this. Jesus, bro. Like, what the fuck is the point? Just keep the shit. God. Okay, yeah, let's get the fuck off this chat. Okay, that was cool. That was fun. Stream. I'm gonna end it. We'll find more videos and shit to watch. We'll do this again. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Stream. Thank you guys for watching. Ego Bro, thank you for watching. Appreciate you here right now. If anyone's new, please consider subscribing. Would greatly appreciate it. Dead Boy Dex, 10% off of W. It's the shit I was drinking earlier. If you want, I get commission for it if you use my code. Help a homie out. Have a good rest of your night. Live again probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day. Just because sometimes I can't keep a damn schedule. So if not tomorrow, it'll be the next day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate y'all. Like that dirty bra that freaked out. Jesus, bro. All right, bro. All right. W Stream Chat, thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.